It's a cool and windy Friday afternoon in Las Vegas, Nevada. CW Sports live north of the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Tomorrow it's round 5 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. NASCAR Countdown Live comes your way 4 Eastern Time on CW. Today it's practice and qualifying. Jesse Love enters with a championship lead. Won the season opener at Daytona. There's one of the impressive rookies in this 2025 class, Christian Eckes. He's won here in NASCAR's Truck Series. And Austin Hill trying to repeat what he did here 2 years ago and win on this mile and a half. So good to have you with us, everybody. Welcome into the broadcast booth with Jamie McMurray. I'm Adam Alexander. Parker Kligerman is off racing this weekend.
He's on vacation, I think we call it.
Yes, he is. The 12 hours of Sebring. We wish him all the best, and we look forward to having Kyle Busch in the broadcast booth calling the race with us tomorrow. Let's talk about Las Vegas. First mile and a half race. How does this place shape up?
Yeah, first of 6. And this is a really fun racetrack. It obviously has the bumps you're going to hear the drivers talk about all practice long. You got to get around those. But the big factor today is going to be wind. The wind is blowing directly down the backstretch, make the cars really loose into turn 3, but they're going to feel like they have a lot of grip in turn 1.
So far, we are living right on this West Coast swing. we look at the weather. There you see the wind and what it's doing on the back straightaway. But I go to what happened last week in the unbelievable finish that we had in Phoenix. Overtime, and out of nowhere, here comes the 17. You think it's going to be Alex Bowman. Eric Almirola says no.
Oh, it was unbelievable on the last lap, the lead that Alex Bowman had going into turn 1. He talked about that he got a little bit loose, and it gave Eric the run he needed down the backstretch. And Eric obviously used him up a little bit in turns 3 and 4, but hard to blame a guy when he's going for the win.
You just can't make up the finishes when you talk about Justin Allgaier, who was so good there in the springtime last year, loses the tire inside of 5 to go. Last week dominates the race, leading over 130 laps, and then the caution comes out when it looks like he's going to drive off to his first win of the year. And hopefully the fun continues here in Las Vegas, because so far 2025 has been really good to the Xfinity Series. We saw Austin Hill on the pit lane before practice began, and now that it's underway, here is the 21.
Yeah, and I bet he has just been itching at it to get back to the track. He made a rare mistake last week, was able to get into the wall on the inside of turn 3 at Phoenix, ended his day, but he's coming to a track, Adam, that he's been able to win at before. He's been really, really good on the mile and a half tracks throughout his career.
2 wins, including last fall at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Jamie and I are going to talk a lot. You've already heard from us. Now let's get to where the real stories happen. The pit lane. Kim Kuhn, Dylan Welch are there this afternoon. We say hi to Kim first. What's up, Kim?
Hello. You guys talking about Austin Hill. As we look at this field, the only driver in the field, a former winner in Xfinity Series at Las Vegas. In fact, he's won here in Trucks too. That is perfect timing. As Jamie mentioned last week, that incident at Phoenix, we'll just say the inside wall came out and bit Austin. But as I talked to the team, Austin was really hard on himself for that mistake last weekend in Phoenix, resulting in a DNF. Chad Haney, the crew chief, told me that he told Austin, yes, digest that mistake, but then we've got to close the book on it, move on, set our sights on Vegas. The plan here, do about a 12 to 15 lap run, ideally make a change, go back out there. And this team has the benefit of a win already in the books this season. What does that mean for them? It means 50% of the race weekend today is focused on tomorrow's race. 50% is getting a baseline for the fall race. And that fall race here at Las Vegas, arguably the most important in the playoffs. The first race of the round of 8 gives them 2 extra weeks to prepare for the championship race. And Chad Haney said that is some of our focus this weekend, is getting a baseline for what we will see here in the fall.
You know, it's interesting. We talk about the crash last week, and I go right to the top of the board. Who's 1-2 right now, Group 1 practice? The 2 drivers that DNF because of that crash. Sheldon Creed leading the way. Austin Hill is second. Here's another driver dealing with some early season disappointment, and that's Carson Kvapil in the 1. Another late race issue last week at Phoenix.
Yeah, he had I think he had a brake rotor, actually. We don't 100% know in the race. He had a brake rotor, we think brake, which caused a flat tire. But he had that amazing run at COTA, the battle with Zilich. Didn't get the result that he deserved, but a little bit surprised. And as we talk about him, you know, he ran those few races last year and just incredible in all of them. Almost won at Dover. But you almost wonder, like being able to run every single weekend it's nice to be in the car every single weekend, but it's also a lot to take in as a rookie, going to all these different racetracks and having to deal with learning and preparing for a different track every single week.
First time he's been to Las Vegas in anything, and the first time he's raced on a 1.5 miles in the Xfinity Series. Quapple right now is fourth. You mentioned what happened Circuit of the Americas. I thought he was going to win this race. His talent on full display racing his teammate here, Jamie.
Oh, it was so much fun to watch it. So we thought this was going to be the Connor Zilic race. He was just going to drive away. But Connor got a little aggressive when he had to go to the back of the pack, had some damage, and he had an amazing battle with Quapple down to the end. It was unfortunate that we saw those guys locking up the right fronts as they would get over the curbing, and it seemed like he slid his just a little too long. Had that flat tire, but he had to be. I mean, we don't consider him a road racer until now. Now when we go to a road course, we think he might be a threat each time.
Top 5 at Daytona, didn't get to finish. They deserved at Coda, and they were moving in the right direction last week before they had the problem. We'll keep our eye on the one. Quapple is fourth, leading the way in practice. Sheldon Creed in the 00. As we watch him on track in his Ford, we say hello to Dylan Welch. What's up, Dylan?
Hey, Adam. Well, just wanted to talk about conditions real quick. Jamie mentioned the wind at the start of the show. You see the sun out. It looks like a nice sunny day here, and it's actually become a nice day just in the last probably 10 or 15 minutes or so as the wind blows there over in turns 3 and 4. It looks like they're down the back straightaway. Right before we got cars on the racetrack, we had truck qualifying on. It was cloudy, it was cold, and now the sun has come out, and it's actually pretty warm, really comfortable. So I don't know if that will cause enough of a shift for some of these teams to maybe be trying to have to change a couple things here in these opening laps, but conditions definitely different than they were this morning when these cars went through inspection. The other thing, too, that the teams were appreciative of or excited about was that they were going to get a clean racetrack because the trucks were just on the racetrack for practice and qualifying. Sometimes when you come here to Las Vegas, the dust and the sand and everything else just kind of blows around, and this racetrack gets a little gritty on the surface. Nice, clean racetrack for these guys to go out here and lay down some fast laps early and see what they've got for tomorrow.
Yeah, really interesting to hear Dylan refer to the track being clean, Adam, because this is one of those places that when the track is green and doesn't have any rubber on it, you generate a lot of grip. But as I'm watching the lap times of Sheldon Creed, ran a 30:38 on his fast lap, which was lap 3, but falling off over a half second over 10 laps. It'd be interesting to see if he starts searching around, trying to find a little more clean racetrack. We talked about turns 1 and 2 having those bumps in the preferred line, but these guys have options at this track where they can move up the racetrack. You can run the middle, as you see Sheldon Creed doing right here, about a lane up, staying off the bottom, and then right behind him, you see the 28 of Kyle Sieg running right on the bottom.
Let me give a little bit of love to Kyle Sieg. Last weekend, first top 20 of the year, finished 17th at Phoenix. But here's where the great part comes in. His brother Ryan had the issue after qualifying, tore the splitter off. They had to go to a backup. I was down in the garage at Phoenix last week. After qualifying, they're making all the changes they need from the primary to the backup. Do you know who was right in the middle of helping make the changes? It's Kyle. He's helping facilitate moving parts and pieces from the primary to the backup. Then he goes and hops in his 28 and drives it to a top 20 finish. Really, really great effort by really everyone in the Ford camp.
Yeah, and there was concern whether they were even going to get that car done in time because the cars aren't, it's not like it used to be where you unload a car and everything is just ready to go. You warm the oil up and you go out. There was a lot of work that had to be performed to that backup car. So cool to see brother Kyle out there helping him get everything tuned up.
What about it, Dylan?
Yeah, well, so you guys mentioned that thrash last week, and I was talking to Matt Noyce, who crew chiefs Ryan this morning, just about some of the logistics that may have created for this team. And he said the biggest thing we need Kyle to do this weekend is just have a good, clean day. This car, this 28 car, is the car that Ryan and the 39 team are going to use in Martinsville. So the issues that they had last week don't directly affect them for here, the week after, or even next week at Homestead. But this is the car they were going to rotate in and out and use at Martinsville. So Ryan, or rather Kyle, having a good day and a good weekend this week, and ultimately is going to help everybody on that RSS racing team, Kim.
And let's talk with the most recent winner of the Xfinity Series, Eric Almirola, got that win in Phoenix. Looking at some data and stuff right now, I saw you with your teammates. What's on the checklist? You're in Group 2. What are you paying attention to during this group, and what do you hope to accomplish in your group?
Really just the fall off, where the guys fire off for lap time, and then where they fall off, and kind of where the speed's coming from. So the track's obviously cool and a lot of grip right now, so everybody's going really fast. But it'll be a lot different tomorrow. It's going to be warmer, and the track will get rubbered up and it slicks off. So I don't know how much you really learn. You just look and you feel like you got to be doing something rather than just watching. So just trying to get prepared for practice.
And when you got that win last weekend, I have to ask how vacation was, how the birthday is, because you said great start to vacation. You've been in Park City. What's the family been doing all week?
Yeah, we took off last weekend after winning at Phoenix, and we went skiing. Had a blast. We love it. We go out there often, and the kids are getting really good at it. I invested a lot of time on the bunny hill and the green slopes for the last several years, and now they're finally pushing Dad to my capabilities. So Alex has definitely got me out of my comfort zone. He goes skiing wherever I go, and it's a lot of fun.
You want to feel old. He's 41 today, so happy birthday to Almirola. Kim referenced the birthday celebration. And 18 years ago, almost to the day, he made his Cup debut driving for Joe Gibbs Racing here at Las Vegas. That'll really date us all. Here's Matt DiBenedetto. I mean, some highs and lows to start the year, but look at practice. Group 1, they are third behind 2 really good teams.
Yeah, and he ran a fast lap at 30:56, but as I look at his lap times, even around lap 10, not too far off of Sheldon Creed or Austin Hill, so it's not like they went out and just ran one good lap. That car has some speed in it this weekend, and they need it because last weekend they didn't have any luck. They had that engine issue after qualifying and then had issues early in the race. So, yeah, the 99 team looking to rebound here this weekend. 2
practice groups. They each get 25 minutes and then will qualify on the CW. 13 and change to go in Group 1. Sheldon Creed showing the way in Las Vegas.
If you're sharing a hotel room with friends, you're also sharing a bathroom and a mirror and a tiny hairdryer. Get an Airbnb and get more space.
Is that my bestie in a taxi?
I'm a police detective and you're my consultant.
You must be willing to walk away from anyone.
Max could be pulling another car.
You know, fun.
When I started college, so many people warned me about credit cards. They just seemed really scary. When I needed a car, I realized that I needed to build credit. So I got the Chime Credit Builder card because I could safely build credit without being afraid of fees or interest. And there was no credit check. My score went up over 60 points and I bought my first car. As a busy college student, having a car is an absolute must. I feel like I could do anything. My next goal, a 700 credit score. Join me at chime.com.
Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the scene for NASCAR this weekend. We're about a 25-minute ride north of the Strip. I've got a little gambling trivia for you, Jamie Mack.
I like that.
When was casino gaming legalized? Do you know the answer?
1941.
31. That's
okay.
pretty good. You hit the over on that, but, we'll give it to you. If you won, are you up or you down since we've been out
It was a wild night, Adam. I was up late. We were doing shots. Honestly, I thought we were going to close the place down.
Oh, yeah. I said
it was actually 7:12, and I think I closed my eyes last night. I was so tired.
I texted you and I said, I have a dinner reservation for 7:30 if you want to join us, and you said, that's way too late for me.
I didn't make 7:30 last night. I had a long day.
When it hit 9 o'clock and I was still at dinner, I'm like, I should have gone with Jamie.
Totally.
Anthony Alfredo in the 42. New team this year. Hey, by the way, seeing Anthony reminds me, This is a Dash for Cash qualifier. This race tomorrow, top 4 tomorrow, advance to Miami next week to run for $100,000. Alfredo won the $100,000 last year at Dover driving for Our Motorsports.
I remember that, and that was huge for him to be able to pull that off. And when you think about Anthony, I mean, he has not been with one of these top-tier teams throughout his career. So to be able to go out and put him on them, it's huge for a team like that to also win the $100,000.
We had a couple of upsets in the Dash for Cash last year. Alfredo won it, so did Ryan Sieg. We qualify him tomorrow, and again next week, an additional $100,000 on the line.
Every time I see Garrett Smithley, Adam, I think about Atlanta when we went up to one of the suites and were able to meet his family, and just what a good group they were. We took a picture with them to hear the mom and dad talk about watching us on TV and how proud they are of Garrett. Gives you warm and fuzzies all over.
Well, his dad's a pilot, and we've talked about that story and all the work he's done with the wildfires. But I will say that what's really cool is he went to flight school in Daytona Beach, which is kind of what introduced Garrett to NASCAR as a youngster, becoming a fan. But it's a great story, good family, and always nice to see Garrett in the garage.
Yeah, and you could hear, as you were talking there in the background, you could hear a lap time. That's Keith Barnwell, Garrett's spotter, giving him his lap times off turn 2. These cars don't have any way for them to see the lap times inside of the car. So as you're out there, you just want like a little bit of a verification of, I think this feels good, and you have a lap time that you're shooting for, and as he exits turn 2 right here, you heard him say 02 right there, 32.02. Garrett's going to come in and maybe work on the car a little bit. It's really hard here after you make that first run to pull back out on scuffed tires, which all these guys are going to be on. Garrett's run 12 laps so far. It's not a guess, but it is a little bit of a guess of the change and hearing the lap time and the feel that you have. And these guys, they get really good at being able to figure out what they need as the run goes on in those cars.
Dean Thompson driving the 26 Toyota for Sam Hunt Racing, one of our 8 Rookie of the Year contenders, 10th right now in practice with 8 minutes to go.
Yeah, he's going to make his first Xfinity Series start here, but he does have some truck experience at this track. And I would think, you know, as we talk to some of these guys in the garage, even though they haven't run the Xfinity car here and they're going to drive a lot different than the trucks, just having experience on the track is huge when you come versus some of the guys that have never been here before.
I would ask you, how do you manage your time? What are the things you need to do as a driver, the boxes you need to check to get ready for tomorrow? This is big.
Oh, this is huge at Las Vegas. It's one of the, you see he's locking up that left front, getting to pit road. It's like the corner just keeps continuing around as you try to get on pit road, and you make that transition off the banking onto pit road. It's extremely hard. I would encourage everybody to get out there and practice this, because somebody will miss that tomorrow in the race.
And history says we're probably going to have a green flag stop here tomorrow. Kim?
Yeah, and green flag entry to pit road was one thing on the checklist for Carson Kvapil this practice, in addition to getting in dirty air, all the things you need to learn when it's your first time in anything at the racetrack, which it is for Carson. So I actually asked him, like, who are you leaning on? What do you expect this weekend? And he told me, very honestly, he says, I have no idea what to expect, and I actually decided not to talk to anybody, not even to lean on teammate Justin Allgaier, who's so good at Vegas, because he wanted to come in with an open mind. He didn't want to have any preconceived notions. He wanted to get practice under his belt first, then be able to soundboard off of other drivers on was he feeling the right things, what he can expect in the race tomorrow. The biggest feedback the spotter was giving him is he just needed a little more arc in turn 3.
Well, I would say do what works for you. And if he feels like, you know, not coming in with any thoughts of what he needs to do. I mean, all these guys are going to get on the sim, they're going to run through, but the sim's not exact. It's going to be a little bit different. And I mean, I kind of like that. I think that's a unique approach. I would almost want to have some ideas coming here of things I want to work on in practice. But, you know, if Carson thinks that's what he needs to do, then that's what he should. And if it doesn't work, you do something different next weekend.
35, Greg Van Alst, driving for Joey Gase, part-time effort. Part-time effort as well for Austin Green, set to make his second start this season here tomorrow, driving for Jordan Anderson Racing. But it will be his third start all-time on an oval, noted road racer, and so this is going to be big for his progression when you look at competition in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Just over 5 minutes to go. It's Group 1 practice at Las Vegas. Creed, Hill, DiBenedetto, the top 3 right now.
I'm a police detective, and you're my consultant.
You must be willing to walk away from anyone.
NASCAR could be pulling in on their con.
No fun.
With Chime, I can get paid when I want. Why do we accept waiting 2 weeks for payday? I work hard every day, but I don't get paid every day. Because of Chime, I don't have to wait to get paid anymore. With my pay, I can get up to $500 of my pay on my schedule. There's no interest, no credit checks, no mandatory fees. I love being in control of my money, and for the first time, I can control my payday. And you can too. And that's why I Chime. Join me at chime.com and get paid when you say.
I didn't love doing the toilet one.
Yes, you did. In fact, Clorox proved that you felt 61% better about cleaning than getting a massage.
That's a good percentage more.
Rethink what makes you feel good.
Practice continues, Group 1 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. First of back-to-back races on mile-and-a-half tracks will be at the Homestead Miami Speedway next Saturday. 71 is Ryan Ellis. 3 top 20 finishes this year for DGM. Mario Gosselin, Jesse Awuji partnering with this team.
Yeah, and we're getting down to the end of practice. Only 3 minutes to go in this session. All these tires are the worst they're going to be the whole time, but you see him still working the bottom, which I find interesting, because typically as the tires start to wear down, guys will start searching around a little bit. He's actually coming in right here. It's probably why he ran low through turns 1 and 2.
Leland Honeyman Jr., first time we've seen him since he picked up that top 10 finish at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thomas Annunziata's been driving that car the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, and as you saw, he's running about a car length off the bottom through turns 1 and 2. I think that's going to be the preferred line for a lot of these guys. As we talked to Harrison Burton in the garage earlier today, he talked about those bumps, and he said, you know, running a little high in 1 and 2 is not the end of the world. He's like, you can still make really good lap time up there, and it's a lot easier as the car transitions through those bumps.
I want to go to something you said just a second ago. Tires are wearing out late in this practice session. Dylan referenced the changing weather conditions from when teams arrived this morning to right now. Race tomorrow is going to be a little earlier in the day than this practice session. It's supposed to be warmer tomorrow. You get 25 minutes. How careful do you have to be to make sure you don't take yourself out of the game with the adjustments and the thought process today?
Well, let me say this real quick. You see the 00 right here behind the 21. I like that because he's getting an idea of what his car is going to do in traffic. It's pretty easy to make your car handle when you're all by yourself, but I like that Sheldon Creed's put himself in a position of being behind Austin Hill. And as you see, he's running a little bit offset, a little bit higher, getting some clean air on the nose, just feeling his car out. But I like the idea that he's going to know where he is. 27 laps on his tires right now. And Adam, as we look at those lap times, it's dropped off over a second, over 20 laps, 25 laps. That's good for us as we watch this race tomorrow and you have this massive tire fall off on a track that is so wide. The drivers have options, and it means if you have a bad pit stop or if you get put in the back, you have room on the racetrack to race, and that as a driver is as much fun as it gets.
Here's some 21 radio with a minute to go in practice.
I've made that comment several times throughout the years. Like, as soon as I go to add a little bit of wheel, and I'm like at 11 o'clock and I try to go to, say, 10 and some change on the wheel, it immediately slides the front tires and chatters them just for a split second, but the rest of the corner is really good.
So great feedback from Austin Hill, and what he's saying is that if he puts a little bit of wheel in it, they have the slip angle of the tire, and the tire's generating grip. But as he turns the wheel just a little bit past that, the car gets tight. So as a driver, you have to then almost just straighten the wheel back up a little bit to get the tire to bite again. So really good feedback. I mean, they can work on things like the toe or just go look at the data of air pressure, of things that they could do to make that car continue to have good grip. But that tells me his car's pretty close. He likes the way it feels. The other thing that I see with him, and we see this a lot with Austin Hill, the left front is on the white line. Hard to do, especially as the tires get old. You have to be so disciplined to roll out of the throttle. And you see when you get your left front on that line, there's a little bit of rubber on it. It's like mega grip.
Opening group practice is done. And I'm going to look over at the 15-lap average. The 00 and 21 just laying right over top of each other. If you're going to be successful in this race tomorrow, it's going to be decided in that final stage. And history says we're going to have a long green flag run. So you better be good on the long run if you're going to be able to deliver here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. More practice coming up. Group 2 on track when we return. It's a sunny Friday afternoon in Sin City.
Have you been seeing strange things? Things that you can't explain? This is no fairy tale. You are one of the last Grims. You have to hunt down the bad ones.
I must really enjoy playing with toilets.
Weird. Let's explain how we got here. Clorox did an experiment measuring people's brain waves and found that petting puppies feels pretty good.
Oh my goodness, hello?
Not surprising, but you know what feels even better? Cleaning a toilet.
Really?
For him, it did.
That is crazy.
Whoa! And for these participants, clean felt better than getting a massage, playing video games, and getting their nails done. Rethink what makes you feel good.
They said you couldn't be strong and better for the planet. We said, watch us. If everyone in the U.S. chose Glad drawstring trash bags, we'd save 100 million pounds of plastic waste each year. Yes. And that's better than all good. It's all Glad.
When life calls for a little peanut butter M&Ms.
All season long, NASCAR Xfinity Series going to be on the CW. Race number 5 comes your way tomorrow. NASCAR Countdown Live, 4 Eastern Time. Group 1 practice done today in Vegas. What name jumps out as we look at the top 10, Jamie?
Well, I'm looking at Carson Kvapil. He mentioned, not wanting to have a preconceived notion coming here. I think I'd stick with my plan. It worked out pretty well in this first practice.
Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, the top 2, and we've talked about how good they have been. Let's go to Dylan.
And Anthony Alfredo is 5th fastest, as you see there, 174.9 miles an hour. So what'd you think? This place, it feels like every time we're here, there's always a bunch of wind. There's always some different variables you kind of have to get your head around.
Yeah, certainly, Dylan. The bumps in 1 and 2 seem to get worse every time we come back, and then the wind always plays a huge factor, and I think it truly masks the balance you have. So I was surprised because we're almost as fast as Xfinity Mobile. When I looked at the board, I was looking at the bottom of it because that's how bad it felt. And then I looked up and we were 5th. So huge testament to the guys at Young's Motorsports. They've been doing a phenomenal job bringing really fast race cars to the track. And we just haven't had the results to show for it. We've had so much bad luck and it just hasn't been meant to be. But when you keep bringing the speed to the track that it takes to compete, the results will come. So I have faith. We definitely had a rocky start to the year and we got to dig ourselves out of a hole a little bit. So got to be aggressive, trying to get stage points when we can and ultimately finish up front. But I'm really proud of the effort everyone's been putting in for a new team to the Xfinity Series and, a small organization at that. To be as competitive as we've been is something that we take a lot of pride in.
Adam mentioned earlier that the Dash for Cash qualifier is this week, and I know that was something that was exciting for you last year. what does that mean to the smaller programs on the Xfinity side, just to have an opportunity to go after that extra money?
Oh, it's huge that Xfinity does that for us in the series, because even though like it seems like a far-fetched goal, you never know what could happen. I proved that last year, right? People were surprised that we even qualified for it. That was an accomplishment in itself, but then to actually win it was huge, because that money just helps you close the gap between yourselves and the bigger teams as far as the budget. That's repairing race cars, building a new race car, or just putting it into the program in other ways. So that's we definitely have our eyes on that. It won't be easy, but if we can capitalize on that opportunity, it could definitely be a huge reward. I would say it makes a bigger difference for a team like ours than some of the other organizations.
Always love extra money for sure. Thanks, Anthony.
I think we all like a little extra money, but I like the way he worded that. It does make a bigger difference for the smaller teams winning that versus some of the larger teams. One of the things he said, though, Adam, is I always liked if I thought my car felt bad and it was fast versus when I'm like, boy, this feels really good. And they're like, well, it should, because you're really slow right now. You need to speed it up. So good for him. Hopefully they can get that thing just feeling a little bit better for him on the track.
Back to the Adam and Jamie spend too much time together thing. I was going to ask you, what is it like as a driver when you think your car's not where it needs to be and you're up there at the top of the board, and right out of the interview you go with that? Hey, Jesse Love.
Ooh. Ooh.
I mean, you want to get on a heater when you're in Vegas.
It's like the tire's in love with the fender right now.
I guess it is.
Get those apart. That means over-traveling a little bit on the left front. That's a pretty aggressive rub. We'll see if that gets better as he runs here. I don't know. I think I would want to come in and look at that.
Don't worry about the smoke.
Okay,
Don't
well,
worry
never mind.
about the smoke.
That's the guy not driving it that's saying that. If you're the guy that might hit the wall, you're a little more paranoid of that. But looks like it's getting better as the air pressure builds up. The scary part is like where's it rubbing at? If it's rubbing on the sidewall versus the top, it can rub longer and it's not a big deal. That was Danny Stockman that you heard come on right there. He must have known that they've seen this before, and yeah, as the air pressure builds up, it looks like it's getting a little bit better.
He seemed really confident when he said that, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
I mean, I guess I would believe him if I was driving, even if I was going 175 miles per hour, Kim.
Yeah, and that's Group 2 on the track right now. But as we look at the board for Group 1, top of the board, Sheldon Creed, did you get everything out of the car you needed for tomorrow?
I'm sorry, I have no idea what you said, but yeah, Brenda Jacqueline, Ford Mustang. Felt okay. I fired off a little free and was able to run some decent laps there to start, and then kind of had a balance swing and got tight. So a few things to work on. Definitely got tighter than I wanted for racing tomorrow, but we'll work on it some and hopefully have a good run.
So Creed was quickest in that opening group, as Kim pointed out. He's now second overall. If you look at our bumper, the drivers with their number in the scoring pylon highlighted in orange, they are on track now in Group 2. Connor Zilich, now the fastest of the bunch, the rookie in the 88.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the one that popped up to me. He had a tough weekend at Phoenix. I think, after winning at COTA, he ran fourth at Phoenix last year, and you're like, man, he maybe could go win again, and had a long weekend, got put back after sliding through his pit stall. Was never able to recover from that, but I'm telling you to go out in the second group and be quick. And honestly, I mean, looking at that, you mentioned those orange boxes being the ones in this group. I see a lot of orange boxes at the top of the board right now, so it makes you think that maybe the track is picking up a little bit, which I would think is the opposite. As the rubber gets laid down, it typically loses grip.
And the metric is what sets up these groups. Typically, Group 2 is going to have a lot more faster cars. Let's go back to last week. Zilich's second career start in Phoenix just really derailed after this pit stop.
Yeah, and you're just going to have this in your rookie year. It's part of being a rookie. You're going to have to learn from that. He was in that #1 pit stall, slid through his box. His stalls are slick. You see a little contact right there from his teammate. Those guys are battling hard, getting every position that they can.
I will say this, though. Winning cures just about everything in NASCAR. And the fact, as you see here, his stat pack for the season, 2 DNFs, the win at COTA, 16th last week, a whole lot easier to swallow when you know you're locked into the playoffs and you can just continue to lay that foundation.
Yeah, and I would say Phoenix was his worst performing race of the year, because as I looked at Atlanta and Daytona, he was really quick at those and did a great job. And this will make him feel good as you go out and can be at the top of the board. At a 30.26, that's a really fast lap. He's making a little bit of a longer run right now, and his lap times are continuing to stay really good this run.
Junior Motorsports, 3 wins here all time. Sammy Smith driving the 8 for JRM is third on the board. Go back and watch the fall race here. He was involved in that incident on a restart. Car got banged up. They never were able to recover. And that put him directly behind the 8 ball in the round of 8. Nearly was able to get to victory lane in the final race in the round of 8 at Martinsville, advanced to the championship 4, finished second to Almirola. But a lot of optimism in the 8 camp early this year. Daniel Dye in the 10, sitting idle on the pit lane. Let's get some audio from their team.
What came loose? That bell, one of them popped out, so just give me a second. Let me come see and pop it back in. Copy, sorry. It's okay, man. Better to be safe than sorry.
Oh man, that's scary. So he's referring to one of his seat belts. There's like a cam that's down by your belly button that all those belts will snap into, and sometimes when you put them in, they can get in a bind, and if you don't hear it click, it's not all the way seated. And I've had that happen before, and I have a kid that races, and I have just worn him out, like, you need to listen to this click and double check it, because that's happened to everybody at some point in your career, and it is terrifying to get in the middle of the corner and feel that belt pop out.
On board, Taylor Gray. Another one of our rookies off to a great start. Look at the bottom line there. The box score for 2025. 3 finishes inside the top 10 in 4 races. Only 3 drivers have recorded a top 10 in 3 of the 4 this year. You got Taylor Gray with Sam Mayer, and you also put on the board Jesse Love. That's an impressive lineup of drivers.
Yeah, and the one race that you saw that he had a bad finish because he got wrecked. He's been
Absolutely
good in every single race, and he was one of those guys that got caught up the last time we were here in the wreck that you were referring to earlier. It eliminated a lot of guys, but he had a great run going here last fall as well.
But you go back to last year. He's running that part-time schedule, also driving full-time in the trucks. 13 races last year, 3 top 10s. He's already got 3 top 10s this year, just Taylor Gray. And we check on another driver off to a hot start. 41 is Sam Mayer, made the move to Haas Factory Team. 2 career victories on 1.5-mile tracks for him.
Yeah, I mean, talking to their team in the garage, they're like, look, we got wrecked at Atlanta. If we hadn't, we think we'd be leading the points right now. This transition to the Haas team has been really good for Sam Mayer, the best start that he's had in the Xfinity Series to his career, and you see him being right there behind Connor Zilic. Same thing as Sheldon Creed, his teammate. I like that he's getting in some dirty air, getting to feel his car, what he has, and I think those Haas factory cars, I mean, when you look at the performance that Riley Herbst had here a couple of years ago and just where they've been, they are going to be a factor in this race. He wasn't able to run that really fast lap that we've seen Connor Zilic in front of him, but you see how he's just a little bit lower. That tells me that his car is turning a little bit better. The grip feels good. We'll see if he decides to go in and run right behind Connor into turn 1, if he tries to run a little bit high to get some clean air. You see, he's just trying to keep that left front fender poked out to get some clean air on the nose.
Mayer 15th overall in practice. And if you looked at it from a distance, you would say there's debris, but that's tape that's obviously there for a reason when you look at the nose of that Ford.
Yeah, and it's black tape, and if you look at the top, there's white, and that's signals for the crew guy where they can grab on. It's like a little pull tab, basically. I don't know that I guess you see that on the 88 as well. It looks, well, if I'm being honest, it looks kind of like a sloppy job. Like they put that on, but that must be the way they do it.
But I will say this, and I mentioned the debris thing, and that's what originally made me think of this. You come here, it's windy.
Always.
I mean, it seems like inevitably we're going to have a car or two that deal with debris on the grill.
Yeah, absolutely. The wind here always blows a lot of debris onto the racetrack, and somebody will have that issue tomorrow for sure.
Eric Almirola, fresh off that victory last week. We talk about the fact Las Vegas has not been a great track for him, but when you look at what he's done since returning to Joe Gibbs Racing, just remarkable since the beginning of 2024. His last 5, you can't be much better.
It's been unbelievable, and he was in the right position last weekend to be able to capitalize on a win. And you said it, this has been a tough track. I mean, in the 6 starts he has here, no top 10s. He ran both races last year, Adam, and had some issues in the second race, but really just wasn't very fast in either of those. And this has been a great track for Joe Gibbs Racing. So he's on a hot streak. Everything's kind of going his way right now. It'll be interesting to see if they can put it all together. He's 6th on the lap times right now. His fall off, to me, looks like about as good as what I've seen. And, momentum, man, you can go to a bad racetrack when you have momentum on your side and do well.
Only one driver in the history of the Xfinity Series has won a pole on their birthday. Eric Almirola turning 41 today. We'll see if he can get the payoff in qualifying later on. Zilic leading in practice.
I need my best people on this. That means you. Her too.
Grab your fuzzy balls and come with me.
Slow down.
Who has more fun than us?
They said you couldn't be strong and better for the planet. We said, watch us. If everyone in the U.S. chose Glad drawstring trash bags, we'd save 100 million pounds of plastic waste each year. Yes. And that's better than all good. It's all Glad.
Three of the four junior motorsport Chevrolets, top 10 in practice here at Las Vegas with Jamie McMurray. I'm Adam Alexander, Dylan Welch, Kim Kuhn hanging out downstairs. We mentioned JRM. Here's the veteran, the reigning champ, Justin Allgaier, who tomorrow will look for his first Las Vegas win in Xfinity competition.
Well, he's done everything but win here. The 4 second-place finishes. This almost reminds me of how good he is at Phoenix. And you think about him dominating that race last weekend. I mentioned Austin Hill having a long week. I bet Justin did as well, because that's got to be hard to lead 130 laps and then have to go down to, a green-white checkered, and his car just would not fire off on that restart. You see him sliding Eric way up the hill, allowed Bowman to slide right through the middle. Yeah, that had to be a tough pill to swallow right there.
Well, the post-race reaction, this right here,
says it all.
It really tells the story. And no one takes it more personal than him, right? And I'm not going to measure the emotions of drivers and say that one feels it more than another, but he really does carry the weight of his team.
Yeah, and he's won 2 races at Phoenix, but I think he's dominated about 100 of them and hasn't been able to win. So, as you get down to the end of those races, it just seems like it's went the wrong way for the 7 car. Kim, do you have more on the 7?
Yeah, just having trouble in 3 and 4 was the biggest complaint from Justin Allgaier, and this seems to be a JRM problem. His teammate Sammy Smith also with the same problem. Sammy a little more specific in describing his issue. He just needs to carry his speed better to wrap 3 and 4. The fastest cars are using the bottom at both ends, and Sammy said it's just too tight to wrap the bottom. So both Justin Allgaier and teammate Sammy Smith having trouble wrapping that bottom in 3 and 4.
I think I got a tire actually coming apart right now.
That's 7 radio there. Saw him kind of dropping off the pace. Wasn't sure what was going on.
Well, he aborted that lap. Yeah. I thought maybe the handling just went away. But, as a driver, if you feel that, you just slow down immediately and come in and let them look at it. This is it isn't a really abrasive track, but I don't remember having any tire issues here last year. And they're on the same tires. Better be safe than sorry.
Yeah, we'll continue to follow the story of Justin Allgaier. Had the flash of Brandon Jones. And you talk about the opposite ends of the spectrum when you look at expectations. Allgaier felt like he should have won, disappointed with 5th. Brandon Jones finishes 3rd, and he is on top of the world, right?
Yeah, it's been a struggle the last couple of years for Brandon. He comes back to Joe Gibbs Racing, and you mentioned it. Those first 3 races, I think they ran fine, but if it could go wrong, it did go wrong. And we talk about momentum. Like to finish 3rd last week and then come here where he sits on the pole last year and ran really well in the race. Feel good about him this weekend.
Well, he sat on the pole here, and he also did at Kansas another 1.5 miles, and he's won twice on 1.5 miles. So Ryan Sieg has done everything but win. 3 runner-ups last year, including the fall race here to A.J. Allmendinger. But before we talk about Las Vegas and the 39, and we kind of referenced this earlier when we were talking about Ryan's younger brother, Kyle. But you just look at Ryan and what that team was able to do last week with a backup car and drive-through, and Dylan touched on it too, but man, that had to be an enormous build of momentum for this organization.
Yeah, so impressive for what they were able to do last weekend, and you referenced the race here last time we were in Las Vegas. He was so fast at the end of the race and wasn't able to get by AJ. He made a move and ended up getting really loose up underneath him, but he's been, it's been so close so many times for Ryan, and as we spoke with him in the offseason, we think this is his year, that he'll get to victory lane, and it could very possibly be tomorrow.
Dylan, what about it?
Well, you guys know the old saying, you have to lose some before you can win some. I was talking to Matt Noyce this morning, and in all seriousness, they feel like they have lost a couple now to the point to where they are ready to win. There's a difference between just running second, right, and finishing second versus losing a race and finishing second. Matt kind of referenced, he said, we lost one leading last year at Texas. We lost one chasing the leader here this year, here last year. So they feel like they are ready to win. And the other point he made too, Ryan's been in this series for a long time, but he hasn't always run up front consistently, so he is still learning. Even as a 38-year-old, he's still learning how to run up front and be in contention at the end of these races. They feel like they're as prepared as ever to potentially get that first career win at a track that he is really, really good at.
Dylan, that's such a great point, and I'm with you. Like as you watch this race last year, the fact that he was able to run the leader down late in the race and have the best car, I mean, it just says a lot about where this team is, and they get their cars, from the Haas factory team as well. We talked about them, Harrison Burton, obviously Creed and Mayer, and those cars, man, this track, it matches up well with the setup that they have. Yeah, I feel good about him this weekend.
You referenced Harrison Burton. Here's cousin Jeb in the 27 off to a really nice start in 2025.
I'm dying to see the inside of this car. I've heard a lot about it, Adam. And there it is. Look at that.
Stickered up.
It's got, I don't know who came up with this, but I like it. What do we got? Steak and butterfly shrimp.
Hey.
All you can eat. That's me.
If you got a buffet sponsor in Las Vegas,
a home run.
All that is missing is a trip to victory lane. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Look at those numbers, though. Daytona is probably going to finish top 5 and gets involved in a dust-up on the final lap, so it doesn't come to fruition. But across the board, he's been consistent. They've gained some stage points. And I look at those numbers, and if you talk to Jeb, he'd tell you they should be better. He's disappointed. That's encouraging for everyone at Jordan Anderson Racing.
Yeah, I mean, finding himself 8th in points at this point in the season, it's great. And they've done a good job, as you said, capitalizing on getting stage points and not necessarily maximizing their finish of the day, but maximizing their points for the day.
William Sawalich, double duty, going to race the Craftsman Truck Series event here this evening. And then, of course, his full-time job tomorrow, the Xfinity car, driving the 18 for Joe Gibbs Racing.
I'm jealous of William. You know why? Because he gets to race, I feel like, every race, every single weekend. If there's an ARCA race, he's in it. If there's a truck race, he's in it. He's running the full Xfinity Series. He is getting to just maximize his time at the racetrack, and that is going to pay off for him. And as you look at those results, they've been super consistent this year. They've been a top 10 car. They need to take that step to get, to a top 5 car and then being able to win. But they have done a really good job with his program of putting him in as many races as he can possibly run.
His confidence is growing. You can see it. And you know how I really know? He was walking through the garage today.
A little strut.
Hat on backwards. A little swagger.
I like it.
Out of William Sawalich. This is a great place. Fun for the fans. And it'll be a wonderful presentation here tomorrow. It's Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're live with practice on CW.
Be there for the race before the race. Now you can stream the practice and qualifying laps of the NASCAR Xfinity Series live. Just go to thecw.com or download the free CW app.
They said you couldn't be strong and better for the planet. We said,
watch us.
If everyone in the U.S. chose Glad drawstring trash bags, we'd save 100 million pounds of plastic waste each year. Yes. And that's better than all good. It's all Glad.
With fatigue and lightheadedness, I knew something was wrong. Then I saw my doctor and found out I have AFib. And that means there's about a 5 times greater risk of stroke. Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if you have AFib, the risk of stroke is always there. If you have one or more symptoms, get checked out. Making that appointment can help you get ahead of stroke risk. This is no time to wait.
Great to have you with us on a Friday afternoon from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's Xfinity Series practice. Doesn't matter if you're watching on one of our fine CW affiliates or on the CW app. It's a fun Friday here in Las Vegas. Qualifying coming up. Focus right now, the 25 of Harrison Burton.
You know, Adam, every week we go to the garage. We see Harrison. Every single time we go down there. I don't know why, but we always seem to find him. I love listening to his story and kind of where this team is right now. They've built this program from where it's been the last couple of years. They've got themselves a good position. I think they're going to be disappointed with where they are on the board right now. His fast lap is not very good. His average lap time doesn't look too bad. Kim, do you have more on Harrison's day?
Yeah, struggling with the handling of that race car. Harrison radioed in, said it's edgy off the wall, tight exit. He needs to be able to enter the corner harder. He said he's still hunting for a lot more rear lateral grip. And when I talked to him before we kind of went into this stretch of Phoenix, and then we're here in Vegas this weekend, we'll go to Homestead, Miami next weekend, he said this is really going to put a spotlight on where the troubleshooting needs to go on the team, because these are tracks where handling is really going to come into play. They're going to see where their shortcomings are, and those are the gaps they're going to have to make up to compete with some of the bigger teams. And as we look at Harrison's record here, though, he does have 4 top 10s in 4 Vegas starts, so it's going to be a hard-pressed effort to try and continue that streak here this weekend for Harrison.
Well, Kim, that's just like a driver crew chief nightmare. When you're loose in, tight in the middle, it's just almost impossible to fix that. You saw them adjusting the wedge in the back of that car. But that's just, you just almost hope that you just have a bad set of tires, or a set of tires that doesn't agree with your car. As we look at Sam Mayer and Sheldon Creed, and Cole Custer, they all share information. And Adam, Harrison hit on that partnership has actually been better than what he expected.
It's a two-way street now. I think, the conventional wisdom is if you're an affiliate team, you take all the information from Haas
one-sided
and use it as much as you can. And Harrison told us in the offseason, we want to give as much as we receive. They hired Danny Eflin at AM Racing as a crew chief. He was a driver. He spent time at Legacy Motor Club, a real smart guy. And I think over time, all of those relationships and all that knowledge is going to pay off.
Do you think he's smart, like just compared to you and I, or do you think in general, he's a pretty smart guy?
I think in general he's smart.
Yeah, I would
because
agree.
I've had a lot of conversations with you and others, and everyone is highly intelligent compared to you and I.
It just doesn't take much.
Actually, that's why I hang out with you.
That's right. We compliment each other.
Nick Sanchez in the 48. This is a perfect back-to-back here. 2 drivers that have been great out of the gate. Sanchez driving the 48 for Big Machine, 16 Christian Eckes for Colleague.
I've been thinking about Christian all week. They've been able to, like last week at Phoenix, didn't have a great car. They were able to figure out how to kind of finagle their way into getting a top 10 finish. He said he thought they should have run 12th to 15th. But this has been a good track for him. He's never been here in the Xfinity Series, but he has won in the Truck Series at this track. You mentioned AJ won here last year in a Colleague car as we were down there in the garage talking to that team. They just feel like, in general, Colleague has a good setup for this track, and Christian's had success here. Got my eyes on him tomorrow for sure.
Brennan Poole in the 44. Driving for Alpha Prime, Tommy Joe Martins. You look at his numbers overall on mile-and-a-half track. Should point out, after some disappointment at Daytona on a run of top 20s, and that's acceptable for this race team. And a hands-on owner. I saw Tommy Joe flying out here on Wednesday, down in the garage this morning, and an owner that drove these cars, so he has a good understanding of what all of his drivers are dealing with.
Yeah, and as you see, we only got the flags are getting ready to come out, and Brennan knows that. They told him out on the radio, and he's moving his line around. You saw him run all the way against the wall in turns 3 and 4, and I like that. You go out, you know kind of what you have on the bottom, run a couple of laps around the top as those tires are worn out, and just see what it feels like.
Jamie said it. Time is run out. Practice is over for Group 2. Nellis Air Force Base.
That's us right there.
Right off the back straightaway. You've done it. I want to do it. I want to go screaming and one of those guys. That'd be a blast. Practice done. Zilic ends up quickest at Vegas.
I hired a detective chomping at the bit to take the next step in his career.
Oh, no. This is my little brother, Henry. I'm senior detective, so I'm basically your boss.
Y'all married?
Brother and
sister.
With fatigue and lightheadedness, I knew something was wrong. Then I saw my doctor and found out I have AFib. And that means there's about a 5 times greater risk of stroke. Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if you have AFib, the risk of stroke is always there. If you have one or more symptoms, get checked out. Making that appointment can help you get ahead of stroke risk. This is no time to wait.
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
It's time to push your chips in and lay your cards on the table. We are ready to go Xfinity racing here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Unpredictable. That is going to be the name of the game today.
Austin Hill wins it in Vegas.
Yes, baby! Woo! Oh, my God!
Riley Herbst will get his first career win at his hometown track of Las Vegas.
I love you, Las Vegas. Let's go.
Don Hunter Nemechek has been money all day long in Las Vegas. A.J. Allmendinger, he's going to win for the first time in 2024. Let's go, man! I love you! Come on!
You never celebrated.
I love
like
it.
That. I love the
excited.
energy and emotion of A.J. Allmendinger. He'll be running the Cup race this weekend. He's turned the keys over to Christian Eckes in the 16, and he came out of practice 18th quick. Practice is done. We're ready for qualifying. Let's look back at the numbers from the 25-minute tune-up.
Yeah, a rookie being faster, Connor Zilic, you see right there. The other one that sticks out to me, though, is Jeff Burton. Really good in the 27 car. You see him 5th overall. Eric Amarola, who won last week at Phoenix. And then Matt Benedetto. You know, we talked about it. That held up. It seemed like he was actually pretty good on the long run as well.
I'm surprised Sam Mayer, 15th. Brandon Jones outside the top 15.
Harrison Burton, we referenced him having that affiliation with Haas Factory. I think he's going to be disappointed there, but hopefully like I said, they can make those adjustments and put it together when it counts here in qualifying.
38 cars here this weekend. Everybody will make the show. Josh Williams led laps here last year, coming off a 12th place finish at Phoenix. He's 34th in practice. Let's hear from number 88, Connor with Kim.
Yeah, Connor Zilic, top of the board after practice at a track you've never been to in anything. Biggest surprise so far for you here?
Yeah, this place is fast. I woke up at 10 a.m. this morning, got my beauty sleep. I've never worn this suit before. I got 2 suits in my closet. I've used the same suit all year, so I got a fresh WeatherTech suit today, got my Red Bull. My car is as fast as Xfinity Mobile, and the entire Junior Motorsports team did a great job. So, yeah, it's been a great day. It's a little chilly out here, windy, really windy. I got super tight off of 4. It's crazy how much the wind affects these cars. So, yeah, having a lot of fun. Such a fast racetrack, but good start to the weekend for sure. We've definitely got a piece to contend with.
A lot of fun on the racetrack. Off the racetrack, what does an 18-year-old do in the city of Las Vegas?
Yeah, everyone kept asking me, oh, you getting in any trouble last night? And I was like, I wish I could tell you something I could find a way to get in trouble with. You can't do much here as an 18-year-old, but keeps me out of trouble, so it's probably a good thing.
Probably. Connor getting ready for qualifying down here. Dylan.
Taylor Gray fast as well. He is 4th after practice. So the wind's blowing. We obviously always talk about the bumps and stuff here. What's going to be the most challenging part of laying a good qualifying lap down here?
Yeah, I think 1 and 2 is kind of going to be your simple corner today. I think you're going to be close to wide open. If not, you are going to be. And I think that with the wind getting into 3, it's going to be tough. Luckily, we go out a little bit later in qualifying, so kind of get to watch some guinea pigs go out there and go for it. So, yeah, but I can't thank everybody enough at Jogo's Racing. I feel like we've brought a really good operation at our GR Supra. I think we're as fast as Xfinity Mobile, so go check it out.
Thanks, Taylor. Good luck.
Actually, I think the wind is fast.
The wind is fast.
Mobile.
I tell you what, based on Connor's interview, he doesn't need any more of that Red Bull. He was talking pretty fast.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. Fast, disappointment, whatever.
That's where you need to be, Adam.
Oh, yeah.
The bar.
I'm sure I'll get an invite down there. I'll see you after qualifying. It's coming up next on CW.
I hired a detective, chomping at the bit to take the next step in his career.
Oh, no. This is my little brother, Henry. I'm senior detective, so I'm basically your boss.
All married?
Oh, God.
Brother and sister.
With fatigue and lightheadedness, I knew something was wrong. Then I saw my doctor and found out I have AFib. And that means there's about a 5 times greater risk of stroke. Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if you have AFib, the risk of stroke is always there. If you have one or more symptoms, get checked out. Making that appointment can help you get ahead of stroke risk. This is no time to wait.
You could waste money on bottled water, or you could switch to Brita and save $240 a year, which you could spend however you want. Clearly, Brita.
Las Vegas, Nevada, hosting NASCAR this weekend. And we have had some wild weather out here over the years. 2022, we actually stopped the race because it was snowing.
Look at that. That's the headwind you don't want.
Well, I mean, we mentioned the wind going to break. It's only gusting. I mean, it seems extreme. Yeah. It gusted like 29. Last year here, it was out of control.
Well, what do you consider out of control?
It had to be up. Gus had to be up in the 40s, I would say.
Are you exaggerating?
I don't think I am.
No. Wow. Well, inside the car, gusting to 27 is going to upset it a little bit. We're going to hear more than one driver talk about the wind today.
Is luck and good timing a factor in qualifying because of that? You know what I mean?
I think technically luck is where preparation meets opportunity.
Is that what that is?
I believe that is
Okay.
the right way quote.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
Will the driver that wins the pole today need some good fortune?
I think so. Yeah, he's going to need good grip and good fortune and the right gust when he wants it, and not the right gust when he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You feeling lucky today? That's the better question.
When I go back and roll those dice, baby,
yeah.
you know it.
It's on.
You know, we were talking about pit road earlier, and this is a really good shot that gives you that perspective of the arc of pit road, and could play a role here tomorrow. Said it during practice, 38 cars here, 38 make the race, nobody goes home. So even if you had an issue of some kind or didn't have the lap you wanted, you can feel at ease knowing that you're going to race in tomorrow's event here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Austin Green, the first car out in qualifying.
Yeah, and Adam, you saw the official tap on that fender and tell you to go, and I can assure you that unless you win the race, this is like one of the most thrilling parts of the weekend you're going to have the whole time. You get to run high, come into the green, generate as much of a run as you can, and as you get to the start-finish line, you say a little prayer, hoping your car will go through these bumps that we have in turns 1 and 2. There's a decision to be made when you get to the start-finish line. You see Austin's going to run right on the white line. Depending on how much throttle he used there, that will be a good lap, because normally drivers commit to the throttle, and you just hope that the car will get to the bottom.
Austin's dad, David, Xfinity Series champion.
You see he got a little bit high right there, wasn't able to get to the white line, product of the wind. You get a little overconfident in turns 1 and 2 because of the wind blowing you down the track, but then it blows you up the racetrack in turns 3 and 4.
31:36 the time on the board for Austin Green.
Yeah.
Matt DiBenedetto had some speed in practice. I asked him he's going to wrap the bottom during his qualifying lap. He said, if I can get it done. So how challenging is a qualifying lap at Vegas?
Yeah, it's, I think as long as our car is as fast as Xfinity Internet, Xfinity Mobile, we'll be good. And yeah, if I do it right, I'll wrap the bottom. I like to wrap the white line here. And this track's challenging. I love it. I finished second here in the Cup race twice, come so close at this place, and I love it. It's fun because turns 1 and 2 is really bumpy. You got to have good ride quality in your car and a good feel. 3 and 4 is very smooth, but a lot different. So I don't know, man. I'm proud that our Viking Motorsports team did a good job unloading. Fairly close. Some tweaks for qualifying in the race tomorrow, but I think we'll be all right. We got good horsepower under the hood with the ECR engines. We got Rima on the car. Car looks good, so I hope it's as fast as it looks, and I can go wrap the white line like we were talking about and put down a good lap.
Austin Green, you mentioned the bobble in 3 and 4, lost some time over what he did in practice, but improvement for Dawson Cram, who's quickest at a 31:11.
Yeah, and I would expect everybody to pick up 2 or 3 tenths from what they ran in practice. You tape the car up, you put a little air pressure in, you typically have a little more grip, but it's such a deficit to go out early. And the way the metric works, it's based on your finish last week. There's some other things that play into that. And these guys that have to go early, it just seems like the track always gains grip as qualifying goes on.
Dean Thompson over 31 seconds in practice, shaves a half a second off for qualifying, 30:57 for the 26.
Yeah, that's going to be, I think he'll be really happy with that lap. And that's about what we expect guys to pick up here. I would think a half to 3/4 of a second.
Hey, back real quick to Dawson Cram. Had the crash last week. They spent all week rebuilding that race car so they could turn it around from Phoenix to Las Vegas. Got sponsorship from Realty.com. I know he's real proud of that, so just wanted to celebrate the work that they put in this week. And so far, so good, as he had a pretty good lap there in qualifying by their standards when you consider what they did in practice. Here's the 35 of Greg Van Alst.
Yeah, kudos to them. It's so much work to get these cars repaired and get them back out to the track. And we don't see that, right? We leave the racetrack and we show back up the following week, but those guys work their tails off, so that's cool to see them get that car back to the racetrack.
Greg Van Alst just a little bit slower.
His car was
qualifying.
bouncing everywhere in turns 1. I don't know if you saw that. Like as you were talking to him, you could see that car bouncing up and down. There's smoke coming off the left side tires.
Here's the 70, Leland Honeyman Jr.
And we see all these guys able to get to the bottom in turns 1 and 2. And a lot of that is because you have this headwind down the front stretch because of the wind that we've talked about. And so you're not going quite as fast as you enter turn 1, but also as you turn off into the corner, the wind kind of forces the car to the bottom, which is exactly what you want. You lose a lot of throttle, stay on the bottom, but you got to not get overconfident in what you have in turns 1 and 2, because when you get to 3 and 4, that wind wants to blow you up the racetrack.
This 70 is Cope Family Racing, and they've done some positive things. New team in 2025. He almost went to the top. 8/1000ths of a second is Honeyman behind Thompson, as the 14 of Garrett Smithley hits the track.
Yeah, he picked up almost 3/4 of a second. That was a huge pickup. And you can see right here as we ride on board with Garrett Smithley, as you go through those bumps, you see the wheel moving back and forth. They don't want to do that, but it's just how rough it is inside of the car as you're going through that transition. He's out of the throttle a little longer than he wants to be. You could hear him trying to get back to the throttle, just couldn't commit to it.
Something to watch tomorrow, too, especially first couple laps of the restart, is how quick things close off of turn 4, really narrows down there.
You see him peeking right there? He's trying to look at the scoring pylon. The drivers can see it at this racetrack as they cross the start-finish line.
Hey, Garrett, you're 4th of the 6 that have been
off
out.
of 4. Felt like it may got a little free in the center of...
He's trying to catch his breath.
Let's go to Dylan.
Well, hey, there's a lot of good-looking race cars in the field this weekend. I want to point out Jeremy Clements' car here. He's got himself on the hood here, and then he's got the whole Vegas theme down the side. He's got the roulette wheel and everything else down here. The car looks the part. How lucky are you feeling this weekend?
Well, we're about to find out. I mean, it's an awesome-looking car. Suits where we're at, man. Sin City, I love Las Vegas. About to see if we can roll the dice right. It's chilly, man. I'm ready to get back in the car and warm up and go as fast as Xfinity Mobile, but thanks First Pacific Funding, and Vegas is fun, and I try to eat dinner, go to bed at a decent time, not stay out too late, but that's going to be hard.
It's always a good thing. Thanks, Jeremy.
I was going to say, I don't think I believe Jeremy.
He's one of the great
He's a fun
sleeper
guy.
personalities.
Yeah.
Hey, while they were talking, great effort for Anthony Alfredo. His lap turned up all aces, at least so far, 30:27. He's 0.3 quicker than what Dean Thompson put up.
Yeah, because of the issues that Anthony had last week at Phoenix, he had to go out early in this session. But he's 0.3 ahead of second place right now, and I think that's going to be a pretty good lap that he put up. I think he'll be happy with that.
Ryan Ellis ends up 6th.
I like that car. Did you see the wrap that Jeremy had on his car?
Really
I like
sharp.
that. Oh.
Yep.
Vegas themed. It looked good. I don't know. Would you put yourself on the hood of a car if you were driving? I think you would.
You think
I do? I think you would, yes. I do.
Do you think you would?
Definitely would not.
I know you. Well, you always had that big fish. You know what I mean?
I
With
did have that.
basketball.
That's right. I was proud of that fish.
Joey Gase, 53. His teammate Greg Van Ost has already been out, ran a 32:11, so he's hoping to better that. We'll see what he can do.
Joey ran a 31:65 in practice. We'll see. We'll have to pick it up a little bit here. No, just a little bit slower. 31:74 for him. So
jumped just in front of his teammate there. They're 8th and 9th on the board. Chris Wright's out in the 5.
See Chris getting all the way down on the apron, coming to the green. Almost looked like he left black marks right there getting into turn 1. Just barely misses the bottom. It didn't look like it upset the car too bad. It actually looked like that car rode through those bumps pretty comfortably. We saw Greg Van Ost's car really bouncing through there, and that is never good. When you can see it bouncing, it's never a good feeling from inside the car.
Chris was 21st in practice, not bad, a 30:87. Tracking a couple of tenths behind Alfredo, so this is going to be a pretty good lap. 30:43 for the 5.
Great lap for Chris Wright.
We're a fourth of the way home in the qualifying session here at Las Vegas. Sheldon Creed, quick in practice. What can he do in qualifying? And high expectations for Matty D. He and Carson Quapple on the way when we return.
I'm a police detective, and you're my consultant.
You must be willing to walk away from anyone.
Nice could be pulling another car.
You're no fun.
Why has America accepted the wait for payday? When life doesn't wait for you to get paid. Introducing MyPay from Chime. A revolutionary new way of getting your pay when you want. Get up to $500 of your pay before payday. No interest, no credit check, no mandatory fees. When any day is payday, it's a good day. Get paid when you say with MyPay. Get started at Chime.com.
If you want to be surrounded by nature, don't end up surrounded by hotel. Get an Airbnb and go where hotels can't.
It's a NASCAR triple header weekend, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Tonight, FS1, Craftsman Truck Series is back, 9 Eastern Time. Practice and qualifying for the Cup Series tomorrow on Prime Video. 1:30 is when the action gets going there. Round 5 for these Xfinity teams comes your way tomorrow. CW NASCAR Countdown Live on the air at 4. And then Sunday afternoon, Cup teams hit the track here at Las Vegas, 3:30 Eastern Time. The coverage begins on FS1.
Well, we're getting ready to find out what the track has in it. As you know that Austin Hill is getting ready to lay down a smoking fast lap.
A little earlier than what he would have liked, and that's because they, crashed out last week. The metric is what sets the qualifying order, and so typically he would go late, but that was a bobble.
Wow, he has his hands full through turns 1 and 2, and actually coming to the green, it looked like the tracker was off, but you see on the exit of turn 2, really got a good exit. Getting down into turn 3, the tracker just keeps getting quicker and quicker. He was able to be disciplined enough, and look at his hands inside of the car. He's getting all out of that car as he can.
2 enormous wiggles, and he goes to the top, 29.82. I don't know where that lands at the end of the day.
But he earned it.
But he wrestled
That's
that thing
right.
big time to bring it back to the start-finish line and put it P1. '07 of Patrick Emmerling is out, Kim.
And Josh Williams coming off a strong finish at Phoenix. Despite being under the weather, you're almost back 100%. But as you look at continuing the momentum here, what's on the checklist for things you have to get done as a driver at Vegas?
For me right now, it's just breathing. We struggled in practice pretty bad. I'm just trying to, my lungs still have a little fluid in them, so I'm trying to get my breath right. So I don't know, hopefully we get in the race and that'll all kind of smooth out a little bit. So I apologize to my guys, everybody on the Alloy 11 machine. I feel like I let them down in practice, but hopefully I can train my lungs to make 300 miles tomorrow.
Top 20 every race this year for Josh Williams. '07 made a run. Patrick Emmerling, good lap. He is third. Now the 00. High expectations for Sheldon Creed.
Yeah, and you look right there at the tracker on the bottom of your screen. Sheldon was on the very bottom of the racetrack, but compared to Austin Hill, you see almost 2/10 off getting into turn 3. And look, he gets a little bit loose. He's taking a huge arc into the corner. I mean, visually looking at it, it looks great, but the lap time is not showing that.
00 of Cole Custer in recent years has been great in qualifying, but this lap just didn't match up for Creed. He's third at a 30-31, but when you go back Group 1 practice session and how he and Austin Hill were going back and forth, I'm sure a little bit left to be desired that team will feel. And here's the 99 of Matt DiBenedetto, another driver that was good in practice.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit earlier about guys just feeling good coming to tracks they have a history at. Matt referenced being second here in the Cup race twice, so he had to have had this circled on his calendar, and based on the way they were able to unload in practice, they were 12th quick. at a 30.56. It looks to me like he's going to have a really good lap going here as well, Adam. You see he's referenced right there to Austin Hill. About 0.3 off, about a 30.10 maybe.
Good enough for second,
Yeah,
30.13.
I feel really bad for Josh Williams. As when we talked to him earlier, he talked about not being able to breathe. And you can suck it up in qualifying here, hold your breath, but it'll be really challenging for him tomorrow. This is a fast racetrack. You kind of death grip the wheel the whole time you're out there. This is a hard place if you're not comfortable or not feeling well.
The other thing I would say is you're probably going to get a long green flag run, as I talked about earlier in that final stage. So there's really no opportunity to catch your breath, right? To like reset and mentally get yourself back in the game. And that's a lot to overcome. Hopefully they can fight their way through because they've been doing such a good job early in the season. Here's the 45 of Mason Massey getting ready for his third start of the year. Talk to Brad Perez in the garage, who's going to drive this 45 next week at the Homestead Miami Speedway.
Yeah, that's such a challenge. You know, we talk about these guys getting to do this every single week. For Brad and Mason to have to share that car with some other guys, it's hard just to jump in and try to compete with these guys that do it every single weekend.
Massey is 9th, Dylan.
And Jeb Burton was in the top 5 at the end of practice, awaiting his turn to go out and qualify. So we were just standing here talking. It's getting colder, it's getting windier. You guys are going to have your hands full these later qualifiers.
Yeah, my car is fast. Hopefully it's as fast as Xfinity Mobile like it was the last time I got in it. We're 5th there in practice. Really proud of the guys. Brought a really good Golden Corral Chevy. So just excited, man. The guys are doing a good job. Last week we didn't have quite the car we wanted, but we ended up 15th. So hopefully we made the right small tweaks here so I can go try to put this thing in the top 7 in qualifying. I think it can do it.
Thanks, Jeb.
Well, he worked in fast as Xfinity Mobile. I was wanting him to work in some buffet crab legs and steak in that interview right there. I thought that would be a nice
He would have had you if he
would have. He already has me at buffet.
Teammate just went out on the track. Blaine Perkins is 7th. Here's Bilecki in the 91. Teammate Ryan Ellis is 13th, 31.28. Bilecki top 15 earlier this season at Daytona. A new dad who's got some late nights at home during the week helping with a new baby, and he's one of those drivers that probably got a lot of sleep in Las Vegas because of the odd hours at home.
Yeah, he's probably relieved to come to the racetrack and have to work harder knowing that he can get a full night's sleep. That's tough being a new parent.
He's right there with his teammate, 31.19, 13th for Bilecki.
I'm telling you, the lap that Austin Hill ran just keeps looking better because not all of these guys are picking up from what they ran in practice. We had Carson right here, who we talked about how much speed that he had earlier today. He ran a 30.61 earlier. Let's see if he can pick up that half to 3/4 of a second. Ooh, really good lap. Really good turns 1 and 2 for Carson. See, he was able to stay right on the white line, carried a ton of momentum. Don't overdrive it down here in turns 3 and 4. Big arc right to that line. That car being on the inside probably spooked him just a little bit, but look at the speed out of this car coming to the start-finish line.
Driver coach Jamie McMurray walking Carson Kvapil back to the line. Number 1 is P1, 29.50.
Well, based on that, he won't be asking anybody for help anymore, right?
He might be giving you some help.
That's right. His preparation's going to stay the same. That was a heck of a lap by Carson.
And when you consider, and I realize, we had 2 groups of practice, and so that can change the way things go because of the track conditions, but he was the only junior motorsports car that was outside the top 10. So the fact that he's able to find that speed in the qualifying lap is huge.
Yeah, and Adam, we talked about picking up a half to 3/4 of a second. If Zilich picks that up, he's still not going to beat Carson. So that was a really, really solid lap right there.
Kyle Sieg dancing around a little bit. Going to be a half a second off, making 6/10, now 7/10, but that's good enough to put him up in the 4th position. Halfway done with qualifying at Las Vegas. Kvapil, Hill, DiBenedetto, Kyle Sieg, Alfredo, the top 5. And Zilich trying to back up what he did in practice. He and Sawalich on the way.
These champions were born right here.
This is what you want.
And the next big thing will be born in this ring.
Who knows? They could be the main event at WrestleMania.
NXT, stream free on the CW.
When I started college, so many people warned me about credit cards. They just seemed really scary. When I needed a car, I realized that I needed to build credit. So I got the Chime Credit Builder card because I could safely build credit without being afraid of fees or interest. And there was no credit check. My score went up over 60 points and I bought my first car. As a busy college student, having a car is an absolute must. I feel like I could do anything. My next goal, a 700 credit score. Join me at chime.com.
You could waste money on bottled water. Or you could switch to Brita and save $240 a year, which you could spend however you want. Clearly, Brita.
Ready for the second half of qualifying. NASCAR Xfinity Series here at Las Vegas. Let's hear from Kim Kuhn.
Let's actually hear from Sam Mayer. That's the guy I'm talking to right now. All right, conditions are going in and out. Sun's popping in and out of the clouds. It is cooler, wind. What do you expect from this qualifying lap?
I have no idea. I said it to my videographer earlier. I'm either going to hold it wide open or hit the wall. So we're gonna send it and hope it sticks. I know this Audubell Ford Mustang's as fast as Xfinity Mobile. It's just about putting on a good qualifying lap. The old one car out there, put down a heater. We got to go and chase that. We'll be all right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Do you hear that drop? His videographer. I'm wondering, Jamie, Adam, do you guys have your own videographer?
That's Kim. I was thinking the same thing. Like, what a time we're in when you refer to your videographer.
Ironically, Kim, I'm Jamie's videographer.
You're terrible at it, too.
Hey, Jamie, do you want to get a selfie? No, you just take a picture of me, he says. Here's Jeremy Clements. Dylan referenced what a great-looking race car this is. What do you set the over-under on bedtime tonight for Clements?
Ooh, well, I don't know. Are we referring to East Coast time or West Coast time?
Let's go West Coast just to help it.
I'm hoping by 10 o'clock, Jeremy. That's what I'm hoping for.
Hey, he might be celebrating the starting spot up front. I mean, he's not on the pole for sure, but, man, 29.80 is really good for that race team.
Yeah, really. That's almost a second pickup from what they ran in practice. I bet he's really happy inside of the car the way that felt.
Daniel Dye in the 10.
Hopefully Daniel got those seatbelts all snugged up. That was scary earlier to hear him talk about those popping out. Well, we just haven't really seen anybody miss the bottom of turns 1 and 2. All those guys have been able to get through the bumps and get down to the bottom. This has been the troubled spot. Daniel's got a good little lap going right here, about a 10th and a half off. See, he drove in really deep to 3 and 4. Is going to pay the price on the exit. Had to check up right there. Huge loss on the exit of turn 4 for him.
He entered 3, 2/10 off the top spot, and he ends up in 4th, a half a second behind Carson Kvapil. Dylan?
Jesse Love is down here waiting his turn to qualify, so you walked up to me a bit ago, said, you've got a plan. What is your plan for this qualifying lap?
Yeah, I think I got a really good game plan here, and I think I'm just going to try to hold it wide open. And I told my guys, I said, if it sticks, probably be on the pole, and if it doesn't, then we'll probably qualify 20th. So I don't know. I think that's the best bullet I got in the chamber. So overall, I thought our fire off speed in practice was actually really good. Got in some traffic with the 7 car, but a little bit tight on the long run. But I think that we can make this car as fast as Xfinity Mobile.
All right, Jesse Love feeling good in the 2 car.
Circle Mayer, circle Love. I'm just going to hold it wide open and see what happens. I feel like we're going to be entertained when they make their qualifying run. Poole is 14.
Yeah, good pickup for Brendan Poole right there. When I heard Jesse talking about I'm going to hold it wide open. We're either be on the pole. I thought in the next breath he said, "Or we're going to get the backup out." Is what I thought.
I did too.
Where I thought he was going with that. So I liked his optimism.
I think any crew chief would take 20th over the backup car, right?
100%, yeah. Really curious to see right here. You see about 3/10 off compared to Carson in first. Can he hold that? You see that left rear tire, not a big deal. Not a bad 3 and 4. It looked like he lost most of his time on the exit of 2.
Best forward right now is Kyle Sieg. Harrison Burton jumps in front of him. He goes to 5th.
Yeah,
30.094.
Almost a second pickup. That's where they needed to be. They were a little bit off in practice, so good pickup by that 25 team. Good adjustments.
Parker Retzlaff in the 4. Changed teams this year, but, qualifying here last spring, he was outstanding, inside the top 5. And coming off an 11th place finish last week at Phoenix, that's their best run. That's his best run since last summer at Sonoma. They really needed that.
Yeah, and, you asked me one word to describe Parker Retzlaff. It's fast. It doesn't matter if it's a short track or if it's a 1.5 miles like you see right here. Great lap that he has going. We're going to be about 2/10 off. Coming to the start-finish line, he just, Adam, every single track we go to, he is able to throw together a good qualifying lap. Like you said, 29.72 for Parker.
That's really, really good, especially when you look at the practice sheet. He was 39.085. I mean, big jump for him. All right, here he is. He was the fastest in practice earlier. See what he can do in qualifying. Zilich in practice, 30.26.
Big arc down into turn 1. Was able to get to the white line. Going to be a little high, though. Is it going to stick? It does. But you see he lost a little bit of time. You saw how high he got all the way up out of the rubber. Don't try to overcompensate in turns 3 and 4, knowing you missed it there a little bit. Well, he doesn't. Look at that. Coming back. Oh, this isn't going to stick off of turn 4. He's going to wish he could have a little less commitment into turns 1 and 2.
He got really close to that wall coming off of 4. 29.56, 6/100ths behind his teammate Carson Kvapil. Dylan?
Well, we talked a lot about Ryan Sieg today, always a threat here at Las Vegas, but I'm talking about last week, the effort you guys put in to ultimately finish 4th in the backup car. How proud are you of these guys over here for the effort that everybody put in on Saturday?
No, it was a strong effort. Shows how strong our team actually is when you go to a backup and finish 4th with it. So we were close with our psyops for today, just too loose. But it's pretty cold right now, so we kind of thought it was going to be a little warmer, but it's pretty chilly and windy, so we're about an adjustment away. We're where we needed to be in practice, but we dialed it in and feel like we got something good for the race in the long run like we did in the fall.
Thanks, Ryan.
Josh Williams, nice pickup here in qualifying.
I like hearing Ryan talk. Things are just one adjustment away. That means he feels really good about where that car is, and him saying that, based on what we saw last year with him, says a lot about where that car is right now.
I like where that team is just organizationally and what they feel like they're able to do week in, week out. Jeb Burton told us how fast he was. Tracker indicates he is really fast.
Yeah, not out of the throttle. Just barely out of the throttle in 1 and 2, a little bit more in 3 and 4, but he's got a really good lap going. His hands are super smooth on the steering wheel. Tells me that he likes the way that car feels, maybe just a little tight. See those guys peeking over at the pylon trying to figure out where they're at. Kind of what the lap felt like to you, but then you want to know where that lap time is immediately.
Jeb Burton goes to 3rd behind
Kvapil
and Zilich. Yeah, really good. Now William Sawalich.
Saw him getting a little bit of advice from his teammate Eric Almirola on pit road before this lap. Eric, super loose down into turn 1. You saw a little bit of smoke come off that left rear. But the lap time, he's going to pay for it a little bit down the backstretch. That was honestly, for as loose as he got, didn't lose near as much lap time as what we thought he was going to. Easy into turn 3, which was great. You see about the same on the exit of turns 3 and 4. Not a bad lap right there, though, for William. Going to be 3rd overall to 29.66.
He kind of takes what the lap gives him, right? Because you mentioned the trouble off of turn 2. You could easily then overdrive 3 and 4.
Totally.
Take yourself out of the game. He's, hey, look, I'm not going to get the pole, but I'm going to get everything I can. And as you said, he's 3rd and a 10th and some change off of the top spot. Here's Nick Sanchez.
Yeah, we talked about, Parker Retzlaff being fast. Sanchez is the same way. Man, he's able to really get a lot of speed out of these cars. You see that? He is swatting flies. You see that car's leaving black marks through the middle of 1 and 2. He's right on the edge, sliding it. Got a great lap going. Look at this on the bottom. Oh, really good lap. Can he get off turn 4? It's going to be close. Looks like he got a little bit tight right there real late. He's going to be frustrated with himself.
Ends up fourth, yep. 29.67 for Sanchez, who does have a win at a 1.5-mile track in the Craftsman Truck Series. Got it done last year, Charlotte Motor Speedway. There's the birthday boy with his son. The birthday boy's the guy in the car, not the guy helping push
clarify
it.
that.
Eric Almirola coming up from Las Vegas.
I'm a police detective, and you're my consultant.
You must be willing to walk away from anyone.
NASCAR could be pulling in on their car.
You're no fun.
Hey, whoa. What's this? You keep dog food in the fridge?
It's not dog food. It's fresh pet. Real meat, real veggies for my boy Junior.
What are we doing here?
Anybody asks, we were at Grandma's.
And Doug.
You'll be back. Emus can't help people customize and save hundreds on car insurance with Liberty Mutual. You're just a flightless bird.
No, he's a dreamer, Frank.
And Doug.
Well, I'll be. That bird really did it.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where Xfinity Series qualifying is underway. Justin Allgaier currently holds the record for longest top 10 streak here at 7. But as we look at this board, two of your teammates at the top, can you match what Connor and Carson have done?
Yeah, obviously really, really fast Junior Motorsports Chevrolets to start out qualifying here. Although I didn't think Connor was going to make turn 2. I was impressed that he actually made the corner there. So probably a little bit of youth, and I don't know that I would have stayed in it. So, you know, glad that both of those guys ran the laps they did. But really proud of everybody on our 7 team. Our Dirt Logistics Chevrolet has been really good all day. You know, we were really good on the long run. I wouldn't say that short run speed was our strength. So, you know, we're going to rely on these guys and what adjustments they've made to be able to qualify with that much speed. And hopefully we can go lay a lap down. You know, the goal is obviously always to be as fast as Xfinity Mobile, but when you come to a place like this, having that long run speed and some longevity in the car is super important. So, proud of everybody back at the Hendrick engine shop, everybody Chevrolet. We've been working really hard on racetracks just like this, and we know that we're going to have to face it in the playoffs here later this year. So we're going to be taking a lot of notes.
Hey, Justin, the pressure's on.
That's what I thought.
Because your teammates are 1, 2, 3. Sammy Smith goes quickest, jumping to the top, 29.43 for the 8.
Wow, what a lap. Looks so smooth.
8 to go in qualifying. First of those, Brandon Jones, who won the pole here last fall.
Yeah, you know he knows how to get it done. He's another guy, super fast every single weekend in qualifying. You see, he didn't use all the racetrack on the exit of 2, but if you look at that tracker, he's almost 2.5 tenths off, almost like he didn't get through the middle of the corner as good as he needed, so he didn't need all of the exit.
He held it together pretty good.
Yeah, but it was almost the same on both ends. It just seemed like he wasn't able to roll through the middle of the corner as quick as he needed and lost all that time on exit. As you see, he ran to 29.83.
Coming off his first top 5 finish of 2025. Anxious to watch Christian Eckes this weekend. Driving a 16. That car was in victory lane the last time we raced here. It was a playoff race last fall that put A.J. Allmendinger in the championship 4.
See right there, ran just about a half a car length high through turns 1 and 2. Couple of tenths off, though, heading into turn 3. I think, though, in the race, so these guys are going to be really good. You mentioned it, AJ won in this car last year here at this track. It's a good track for Christian. He's won here in the Truck Series. Not going to be the qualifying lap that those guys want, but we have watched them every single week be able to endure the race and put it together and maybe not have the best car, but get a good finish out of it each week.
The last 2 weeks, they've really done that with his first 2 career top 10s.
I want to see Sammy's hands. I want to see if there's like just that little bit of shake that the guys have when they get out at these fast tracks.
Taylor Gray in the 54, really fast in practice.
Yeah, you see he came to the green really good right there. Hear him not out of the throttle very long at all. Gosh, you just know how good Sammy Smith got through turns 1 and 2, but this is a great lap. Taylor's got going. You hear him out of the throttle right on that white line. Having to work the steering wheel a little bit, but not near as much as what we've seen out of some of the other guys.
Top 3 are Chevys. Best Toyota's 4th right now is teammate, and Gray jumps right in front of his teammate. 29.59 compared to a 29.66 for William Sawalich. Top 3 continue to be Chevys from Junior Motorsports. 5 to go.
Well, will wide open work? We're getting ready to find out right now. Jesse Love told us that he was going to be committed. Try to hold that thing wide open all the way around here. Woo-hoo! Yawed out as he got down into turns 1 and 2. Pretty good lap going, only about 600ths off down the backstretch. On overdrive, turn 3, get it to the bottom. That thing is hung out. See him having to work the wheel just a little bit.
Strong effort for Jesse Love. He is 5th, 29.64.
I'm going to say he didn't hold it wide open. It's going to be in my gut. What do you think?
I would say that's accurate.
I think you feel good about it.
But he didn't bring it back 20th either.
Right,
so
that's somewhere in between.
Somewhere in the top 10, I would say.
Yeah.
Here's Ryan Sieg. No Fords right now have qualified inside the top 10. 8 Chevys, 2 Toyotas.
Yeah, and he talked about being within, an adjustment of what he thought they needed, but this is not going to be what these guys wanted. You see almost 6 tenths off heading into turn 3. It just looks like that car has no mid-corner speed at all. He's going to have a little bit of work to do. He's 17th right now at a 30-20, so be fun to watch him tomorrow, though. We know he's going to be quick and see if he can work his way through the field.
Last Ford in qualifying, first of 3 to go, Sam Mayer, and he's another driver that said, I'm going to hold it wide open and see if it sticks. And he'll need to do that if he's going to flirt with the pole, because right now, no one has anything for those Chevrolets from Junior Motorsports.
Well, if he does, I hope his videographer gets it all on tape, Adam, because had a pretty good turns 1 and 2. You saw he ran just a little bit higher, a little bit different line. You see he's about 2 tenths off, getting into turn 3. Honestly, his hands look really calm inside of the car. You see those bright yellow gloves on. Kind of tells you as you see him not moving the wheel that the balance of that car is probably just too tight to go any quicker. Still a good lap, though. 5th overall right now.
Best in class. When you look at the Ford group, Sam Mayer leads the way there. You said it, he's 5th, 2 to go. Now, Junior Motorsports has qualified 1, 2, 3 twice before. They've never swept the front 2 rows. All Guy are going to try to help him do it here. His teammates 1st, 2nd, and 3rd with Smith, Quapple, and Zillich.
Yeah, got a pretty good lap going. He talked about Connor getting high on the exit of 2 and whether he would stay in it. You see Justin about a 10th and a half off. Balance looked pretty good through turns 1 and 2, and he referenced it though. Like I don't ever think of Justin as like this super fast qualifier. I think of him the guy you get 15, 20 laps in your tires, the pace slows down. It's still going to be a good lap, but he's kind of the long run guy, and you see he's going to end up 6th overall right now.
6, very manageable for them. It's not going to be the top 2 rows sweep for JRM, but they're all going to be at the front when the green flag goes in the air. Will they be 1, 2, 3? Only one guy can keep them from it, and that's Eric Almirola, last week's winner.
Yeah, and this has been a tough track for him. We talked about in 6 starts, Eric doesn't have a top 10 at this track, but he does have all the momentum. He committed to stay above the bumps through turns 1 and 2. And Sammy, I can tell you you're looking pretty good right now as you see Eric's couple tenths off down the backstretch. Down into turn 3, gets to the bottom. Actually has a really good turns 3 and 4. Going to gain a little bit back, just maybe that little bit higher line, the farther distance. in turns 1 and 2 cost him, but going to end up 11th at 29.71.
And on the pole, Sammy Smith, third pole of his career in his 80th start. His last pole at Phoenix came November 2023, Kim.
Yeah, wicked fast lap for Sammy Smith. How busy were you in the race car during your qualifying lap?
Yeah, it was very high commitment. Just hats off to all these pilot guys, Phillip and all the guys did a really good job. We've really tried to focus on qualifying these last couple races just to try to obviously help our starting position. But yeah, our car was as fast as Xfinity Mobile right there, and just thanks to Pilot, Team C, JRM, Chevrolet, everybody that helped. The goal is tomorrow, just keep it out front, and hopefully we can finish here.
What do you need to do tomorrow to keep it out front, and do you have the car to do it?
I think so. We were solid in practice. I felt like we needed to work on our long run pace just a little bit. I think it'll be keeping up with the racetrack with rubber and being a little bit hotter in the Cup cars before. So hopefully, we can keep it up front, and we'll see.
There's always talk about the bumps in turn 1. Have you noticed that they've gotten worse, or do they feel the same as in previous years?
I feel like maybe just a touch worse, but overall, it's obviously these guys do a really good job, and JRM as a whole right now is pretty solid. So hopefully we can keep them all up front tomorrow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dylan Sammy Smith will lead the field to green tomorrow.
And his teammate at Junior Motorsports will start next to him. That's Carson Quaffle. So you just told me you felt like you maybe had a little bit more in it. What's the balance like when the conditions are tricky, kind of like they are, of knowing where the limit ultimately is?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, me never being here and stuff like that kind of played a role into just wanting to put down a pretty good lap and not overdo it. We had talked about trying to hold it wide open in 1 and 2, and I told the guys to tell me to hold it wide open, but I just had to lift, and I felt like I really didn't need to. Once I lifted, it kind of cut to the bottom way too good, and just felt like we had a little bit more speed with this Johnny Morris Bass Pro Shops Clarence Chevrolet. But I really think these guys, this whole one group, brought me a car that's as fast as Xfinity Mobile this week. So I'm really excited for the race. I think we got a really good piece, and during practice, I felt like our long run speed was good, and our handling kind of held on and was pretty good. So super excited for tomorrow.
This one car has been so fast all year long. Just kind of some bad luck ultimately is what's took you out of some good finishes. How frustrating is that, but also encouraging at the same time to know that you guys have what it takes, just need some things to go differently?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, it's super frustrating. I mean, I feel like these guys, they work their guts out every week, right? And I hate bringing them mid-20th place finishes week after week. But I really do feel like we've had a top 5 car at least three of the 4 races, and honestly, probably all of them. So hopefully tomorrow we can kind of put it all together and come out with a good finish. We really need to for the points, and just need to keep knocking out some finishes like we did at Daytona and bring ourselves back better in points. But I know this whole number 1 group's working their tails off and bringing me a really fast car week in and week out. Just got to complete through and finish all the laps.
Always got to compete with the one car. He said there's more in it. Start second tomorrow.
It's the third time, Dylan, that JRM has gone 1, 2, 3 in qualifying. And for Carson Quaffle, never sees the place before today, comes here, not bad in qualifying, not bad in practice, outstanding in qualifying. But his dad does know success here. Let's go back. 2007, Travis getting it done in the Craftsman truck series.
Oh, Travis was so good in the trucks back in the day. Look, getting his win here in Vegas.
He's the series champion, and tomorrow Carson will try to match him with a win in Sin City. More coverage coming up.
Growing up like we do, life isn't obstacle-free.
Y'all need to teach about brotherhood. How did this get so messy so fast? Welcome to high school, man.
Just keep leaning on hope.
I heard you found someone special.
Yeah.
Is that dog food in the fridge?
It's not dog food. It's Fresh Pet. Real meat, real veggies for Peter.
That's Peter. Should have known.
You do make a pretty cute couple.
The favorite son of Las Vegas, Kyle Busch, will win the Shelby 427.
Kyle Busch has done it, his first Sprint Cup Series victory at Las Vegas.
Get out the checkered flag for Kyle Busch. He's a winner at Las Vegas.
All right. Yeah, boys.
Good car, good piece, good driving, work.
Home sweet home. Career win 93 for Kyle Busch. Comes in Las Vegas.
Good job, guys. Thank you. Good work.
He's the all-time wins leader when it comes to the NASCAR Xfinity Series. When he won here at his home track in 16, he led 199 of 200 laps.
We couldn't have picked a longer win glitz than Kyle Busch here at Las Vegas.
Right.
It's been pretty incredible. I'm excited to have him in the booth with us and get his perspective on everything. He's as good as it gets in an Xfinity Series car.
Yeah, Parker's racing this weekend at Sebring, so Kyle going to join Jamie and me in the booth tomorrow. We look forward to it. NASCAR Countdown Live, 4 Eastern Time. Here's the starting lineup.
I see a lot of
rookies.
A lot of rookies in there, 5 in the top 9. Pretty cool for Sammy Smith getting his pole when it's all Zillage. Get high off turn 2, still able to come home 3rd. Jeb Burton talked about having a fast car. He proved it again in qualifying.
How about row 6? Retzloff with all the momentum after that 11th place finish last week. And Almirola, tons of momentum as well, obviously, with the win.
Yeah, it's been amazing his last 5 starts, 3rd being his worst finish. He has a lot of momentum on his side. See Anthony Alfredo, you talked about it. Tomorrow's a Dash for Cash race. He won one of those last year. He's looking to lock himself in for Homestead next weekend.
Sheldon Creed in row 12 is interesting to me. Anxious to watch his drive through the field tomorrow. Austin Green making his 3rd ever start on an oval comes from row 18. Joey Gase and Greg Van Oss coming from row 19, the teammates over there. Let's go to Kim.
Yeah, Taylor Gray, the best qualifying Toyota in the field. I asked you about your lap. You said it was good, but 3 and 4 could have been better. Everybody seems to struggle with 3 and 4 here. Why?
Yeah, I feel like the wind and this side of the racetrack is just so much more drastic, and the grip kind of in this side of the racetrack is a little different. So line wrapping down here is just the most important part about this racetrack. So yeah, I can't thank all my Joe Gibbs Racing guys enough. I feel like we brought a really fast Operation Center GR Supra. I feel like we're as fast as Xfinity Mobile. So just got to have a good day tomorrow and have a good points day.
You're one of only 3 drivers to have 3 top 10s in the first 4 races. Does it feel like, because it seems like from the outside that this team is starting to click?
Yeah, I feel like we're firing all cylinders, and we're still learning each other, right? I mean, this is me and Jason's only, first couple races together. So I feel like me and the team are still learning kind of what we need out of the race car and kind of our lingo. But, yeah, we're starting to fire.
That's Taylor Gray. And Dylan, he mentioned Jason. That's Jason Radcliffe, his crew chief, the winningest crew chief in the Xfinity Series. Not a bad guy to be paired with.
Absolutely, and Sam Mayer is going to start 5th tomorrow. So we always know that the Haas factory cars have been good here at Vegas. But it's a new iteration of that team this year. So how much information do you guys feel like you had coming in here that still applies to ultimately how you rolled off the truck and the lap you put down there?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is this place changes every time you show up. I feel like I've been here a couple times, and it's different every time I show up. But this is the first time where I felt like it's pretty similar to what we had in the fall last year. And obviously the Haas cars were really, really good there in the fall. And honestly, all the Fords were really good too. So it feels good to be in a Ford. But yeah, I know the Audubell Ford Mustang's as fast as Xfinity Mobile. I hit the racetrack a little bit in the middle of 1 and 2 on my qualifying lap, and it definitely knocked some speed out of it. I think we could have been a little better if we got that right, but I'm not going to complain about a top 5 here.
You said you were going to try to go flat out. How close did you get?
I was doing it up until I saw the wall coming. I was like, yeah, I should probably not do that. I was going to stand by what I said until it actually happened, but yeah, I did everything I could in there. Obviously, the car has a ton of speed, and I know the 00's in a really good spot too, pace-wise. So he'll be up at the front shortly. It's just going to take a little bit for him, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow. This will be the first time at Vegas where I feel like I can just go out there and do it, and we're going to make it happen.
What gives you that confidence ultimately?
Yeah, I mean, just having really good people around me and having that experience and comfortability, I think, is the biggest thing. And this second time in a row where the racetrack's kind of been in the same state, and I kind of know what to expect now, so I can go out there and just give it all I got.
Sam Mayer sounding like a seasoned veteran, ready to go tomorrow, Kim.
And Nick Sanchez qualified in the top 10. Did you get everything you needed out of today in preparation for tomorrow?
Yeah, I think the number 48 Big Machine Vaca Spike Cooler Chevrolet was pretty good in practice, and it was pretty good in qualifying. I probably threw away top 3, top 4 starting spot in 3 and 4, so a little bit pissed at myself at that, but it is what it is, and I think we have a very good race car. We're starting in stage point, so that's good, and we'll just go fight tomorrow.
As we look at today, it was cold, it was windy, overcast. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 10 degrees warmer. The wind pretty much non-existent. How different will the conditions be in the race car?
I thought when we practiced, we had the sun out. The track was taking a good line of rubber on the bottom, so I think that'll be pretty comparable tomorrow. So we'll just see, with more than 30 laps on the tires, what happens.
Nick Sanchez qualified in the 9th position.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Nick. He's got his backpack on, probably got his computer, going to go read some notes, watch some video for tomorrow's race. And everybody putting in a little extra preparation because tomorrow a qualifier for the Dash for Cash.
$100,000 from Xfinity coming your way. Dash for Cash winner, my friend.
Cole Custer finished 7th. He gets the Dash for Cash for a 2nd consecutive week.
And you're the Dash for Cash winner as well. $100,000 to the team.
And he will see the checkered flag. And Eric Almirola claims $100,000 courtesy of Xfinity.
Sieg and Mayer going at it in Texas. Back to the start-finish line. This one is going to be tight. Who got it done? Photo finish.
The celebration continues down here. A winner in the Dash for Cash. He's taking home a $100,000 check.
Show me the money, Jamie.
I thought it was so interesting, Adam, as we saw that Regan Smith won the Dash for Cash, and then he presented the check to the winner for the Dash for Cash.
He dang sure wasn't giving away the money he won. Here's how it works. We qualify tomorrow. First race in the Dash for Cash is next week at Miami. Top 4 finishers in the points tomorrow. Drivers running for Xfinity points tomorrow qualify for next week. You see the 4 races here. We'll do it at Miami, Martinsville, Bristol, and Rockingham. We have given away a lot of money over the years with this program.
$6 million. That's incredible, and it's so big. We talked about it with Anthony Alfredo. For some of those smaller teams to be able to win that, it's huge.
And yeah, here are the winners from last year. Same for Ryan Sieg, Sam Mayer got it done with that big finish at Texas that we heard, and Eric Almirola with the win at Martinsville was $100,000 richer. Here's Dylan.
And we found William Sawalich, who will start 8th tomorrow. So you're doing double duty again. I think this is the 3rd time this year you've done double duty running the trucks. How much do you feel like those extra laps are helping you? How much did they help you today to jump right out of it and get back in the Xfinity car?
Yeah, I think so. It's just good to kind of get my momentum up personally and get a feel for the track, feel for the bumps and everything that goes to it and all the characteristics. But our Xfinity car, we have a fast Sound Gear GR Supra, and it's as fast as Xfinity Mobile. So hopefully we can get up through the front pretty easily tomorrow. Our long run speed is really good, so that's all I'm worried about.
Trucks are different than Xfinity, though, so how do you differentiate them when you're driving?
Yeah, well, the truck in practice, we were wide open for 30 laps, so that's a bit different from the Xfinity car. So it was just a little weird kind of getting up to speed in the Xfinity car, learning when to lift and how to manipulate the car with your throttle.
Thanks, William.
He starts 8th. If he had qualified in the top 5, would the hat have been on backwards like we saw in the garage earlier?
Like, was the swagger gone, or you think maybe that's just race mode?
If he wins tonight in the trucks,
the hat will be on backwards.
He comes in here with a trophy tomorrow, the hat's going backwards, I think.
Absolutely. And the word that I heard so many drivers say today was wrapping, and not like the hip-hop, Adam, like W-R-A-P. They talk about wrapping the bottom and staying on that white line and how important that is going to be tomorrow for the fast guys to stay right on the bottom.
The other thing I would say about William Sawalich, he's paired with Jeff Mendering as a crew chief. They had a lot of success here in this race last spring with Chandler Smith, a young driver, and I always look at that. We know what Taylor Gray says about working with Jason Ratcliffe, and the same can be said for Jeff Mendering and William Sawalich. So the practice and qualifying portion of the weekend is done, and now we reset for the race tomorrow. It's round number 5 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Kyle Busch going to be in the booth with Jamie and me. Our coverage starts NASCAR Countdown Live, 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks for watching practice and qualifying with Kim, Dylan, Jamie. I'm Adam. So long from Las Vegas. Congratulations, Sammy Smith. You're on the pole. It's a cool and windy Friday afternoon in Las Vegas, Nevada. CW Sports live north of the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Tomorrow it's round 5 for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. NASCAR Countdown Live comes your way 4 Eastern Time on CW. Today it's practice and qualifying. Jesse Love enters with a championship lead. Won the season opener at Daytona. There's one of the impressive rookies in this 2025 class, Christian Eckes. He's won here in NASCAR's Truck Series. And Austin Hill trying to repeat what he did here 2 years ago and win on this mile and a half. So good to have you with us, everybody. Welcome into the broadcast booth with Jamie McMurray. I'm Adam Alexander. Parker Kligerman is off racing this week.
He's on vacation, I think we call it.
Yes, he is. The 12 hours of Sebring. We wish him all the best, and we look forward to having Kyle Busch in the broadcast booth calling the race with us tomorrow. Let's talk about Las Vegas. First mile and a half race. How does this place shape up?
Yeah, first of 6. And this is a really fun racetrack. It obviously has the bumps you're going to hear the drivers talk about all practice long. You got to get around those. But the big factor today is going to be wind. The wind is blowing directly down the backstretch, make the cars really loose into turn 3, but they're going to feel like they have a lot of grip in turn 1.
So far, we are living right on this West Coast swing. we look at the weather. There you see the wind and what it's doing on the back straightaway. But I go to what happened last week in the unbelievable finish that we had in Phoenix. Overtime, and out of nowhere, here comes the 17. You think it's going to be Alex Bowman. Eric Almirola says no.
Oh, it was unbelievable on the last lap, the lead that Alex Bowman had going into turn 1. He talked about that he got a little bit loose, and it gave Eric the run he needed down the backstretch. And Eric obviously used him up a little bit in turns 3 and 4, but hard to blame a guy when he's going for the win.
You just can't make up the finishes when you talk about Justin Allgaier, who was so good there in the springtime last year, loses the tire inside of 5 to go. Last week dominates the race, leading over 130 laps, and then the caution comes out when it looks like he's going to drive off to his first win of the year. And hopefully the fun continues here in Las Vegas, because so far 2025 has been really good to the Xfinity Series. We saw Austin Hill on the pit lane before practice began, and now that it's underway, here is the 21.
Yeah, and I bet he has just been itching at it to get back to the track. He made a rare mistake last week, was able to get into the wall on the inside of turn 3 at Phoenix, ended his day, but he's coming to a track at him that he's been able to win at before. He's been really, really good on the mile and a half tracks throughout his career.
2 wins, including last fall at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Jamie and I are going to talk a lot. You've already heard from us. Now let's get to where the real stories happen. The pit lane. Kim Kuhn, Dylan Welch are there this afternoon. We say hi to Kim first. What's up, Kim?
Hello. You guys talking about Austin Hill. As we look at this field, the only driver in the field, a former winner in Xfinity Series at Las Vegas. In fact, he's won here in Trucks too. That is perfect timing. As Jamie mentioned last week, that incident at Phoenix, we'll just say the inside wall came out and bit Austin. But as I talked to the team, Austin was really hard on himself for that mistake last weekend in Phoenix, resulting in a DNF. Chad Haney, the crew chief, told me that he told Austin, yes, digest that mistake, but then we've got to close the book on it, move on, set our sights on Vegas. The plan here, do about a 12 to 15 lap run, ideally make a change, go back out there. And this team has the benefit of a win already in the books this season. What does that mean for them? It means 50% of the race weekend today is focused on tomorrow's race. 50% is getting a baseline for the fall race. And that fall race here at Las Vegas, arguably the most important in the playoffs. The first race of the round of 8 gives them 2 extra weeks to prepare for the championship race. And Chad Haney said that is some of our focus this weekend, is getting a baseline for what we will see here in the fall.
You know, it's interesting. We talk about the crash last week, and I go right to the top of the board. Who's 1-2 right now, Group 1 practice? The 2 drivers that DNF because of that crash. Sheldon Creed leading the way. Austin Hill is second. Here's another driver dealing with some early season disappointment, and that's Carson Kvapil in the 1. Another late race issue last week at Phoenix.
Yeah, he had I think he had a brake rotor, actually. We don't 100% know in the race. He had a brake rotor, we think brake, which caused a flat tire. But he had that amazing run at COTA, the battle with Zilic. Didn't get the result that he deserved, but a little bit surprised. And as we talk about him, you know, he ran those few races last year and just incredible in all of them. Almost won at Dover. But you almost wonder, like being able to run every single weekend, it's nice to be in the car every single weekend, but it's also a lot to take in as a rookie, going to all these different racetracks and having to deal with learning and preparing for a different track every single week.
First time he's been to Las Vegas in anything, and the first time he's raced on a 1.5 miles in the Xfinity Series. Quapple right now is fourth. You mentioned what happened Circuit of the Americas. I thought he was going to win this race. His talent on full display racing his teammate here, Jamie.
Oh, it was so much fun to watch this. So we thought this was going to be the Connor Zilic race. He was just going to drive away. But Connor got a little aggressive when he had to go to the back of the pack, had some damage, and he had an amazing battle with Quapple down to the end. It was unfortunate that we saw those guys locking up the right fronts as they would get over the curbing, and it seemed like he slid his just a little too long. Had that flat tire, but he had to be. I mean, we don't consider him a road racer until now. Now we go to a road course, we think he might be a threat each time.
Top 5 at Daytona, didn't get the finish they deserved at COTA, and they were moving in the right direction last week before they had the problem. We'll keep our eye on the one. Quapple is fourth, leading the way in practice. Sheldon Creed in the 00. As we watch him on track in his Ford, we say hello to Dylan Welch. What's up, Dylan?
Hey, Adam. Well, just wanted to talk about conditions real quick. Jamie mentioned the wind at the start of the show. You see the sun out. It looks like a nice sunny day here, and it's actually become a nice day just in the last probably 10 or 15 minutes or so as the wind blows there over in turns 3 and 4. It looks like they're down the back straightaway. Right before we got cars on the racetrack, we had truck qualifying on. It was cloudy, it was cold, and now the sun has come out, and it's actually pretty warm, really comfortable. So I don't know if that will cause enough of a shift for some of these teams to maybe be trying to have to change a couple things here in these opening laps, but conditions definitely different than they were this morning when these cars went through inspection. The other thing, too, that the teams were appreciative of or excited about was that they were going to get a clean racetrack because the trucks were just on the racetrack for practice and qualifying. Sometimes when you come here to Las Vegas, the dust and the sand and everything else just kind of blows around, and this racetrack gets a little gritty on the surface. Nice, clean racetrack for these guys to go out here and lay down some fast laps early and see what they've got for tomorrow.
Yeah, really interesting to hear Dylan refer to the track being clean, Adam, because this is one of those places that when the track is green and doesn't have any rubber on it, you generate a lot of grip. But as I'm watching the lap times of Sheldon Creed, ran a 30:38 on his fast lap, which was lap 3, to falling off over a half second over 10 laps. It'll be interesting to see if he starts searching around, trying to find a little more clean racetrack. We talked about turns 1 and 2 having those bumps in the preferred line, but these guys have options at this track where they can move up the racetrack. You can run the middle, as you see Sheldon Creed doing right here, about a lane up, staying off the bottom, and then right behind him, you see the 28 of Kyle Sieg running right on the bottom.
Let me give a little bit of love to Kyle Sieg. Last weekend, first top 20 of the year, finished 17th at Phoenix. But here's where the great part comes in. His brother Ryan had the issue after qualifying, tore the splitter off. They had to go to a backup. I was down in the garage at Phoenix last week. After qualifying, they're making all the changes they need from the primary to the backup. Do you know who was right in the middle of helping make the changes? It's Kyle. He's helping facilitate moving parts and pieces from the primary to the backup. Then he goes and hops in his 28 and drives it to a top 20 finish. Really, really great effort by really everyone in the Ford camp.
Yeah, and there was concern whether they were even going to get that car done in time because the cars aren't, it's not like it used to be where you unload a car and everything is just ready to go. You warm the oil up and you go out. There was a lot of work that had to be performed to that backup car. So cool to see brother Kyle out there helping him get everything tuned up.
What about it, Dylan?
Yeah, well, so you guys mentioned that thrash last week, and I was talking to Matt Noyce, who crew chiefs Ryan this morning, just about some of the logistics that may have created for this team. And he said, the biggest thing we need Kyle to do this weekend is just have a good, clean day. This car, this 28 car, is the car that Ryan and the 39 team are going to use in Martinsville. So the issues that they had last week don't directly affect them for here, the week after, or even next week at Homestead. But this is the car they were going to rotate in and out and use at Martinsville. So Ryan, or rather Kyle, having a good day and a good weekend this week, and ultimately is going to help everybody in that RSS racing team, Kim.
And let's talk with the most recent winner in the Xfinity Series, Eric Almirola, got that win in Phoenix. Looking at some data and stuff right now, I saw you with your teammates. What's on the checklist? You're in Group 2. What are you paying attention to during this group, and what do you hope to accomplish in your group?
Really just the fall off, where the guys fire off for lap time, and then where they fall off, and kind of where the speed's coming from. So the track's obviously cool and a lot of grip right now, so everybody's going really fast. But it'll be a lot different tomorrow. It's going to be warmer, and the track will get rubbered up and it slicks off. So I don't know how much you really learn. You just look and you feel like you got to be doing something rather than just watching. So just trying to get prepared for practice.
And when you got that win last weekend, I have to ask how vacation was, how the birthday is, because you said great start to vacation. You've been in Park City. What's the family been doing all week?
Yeah, we took off last weekend after winning at Phoenix, and we went skiing. Had a blast. We love it. We go out there often, and the kids are getting really good at it. I invested a lot of time on the bunny hill and the green slope for the last several years, and now they're finally pushing Dad to my capabilities. So Alex has definitely got me out of my comfort zone. He goes skiing wherever I go, and it's a lot of fun.
You want to feel old. He's 41 today, so happy birthday to Almirola. Kim referenced the birthday celebration. And 18 years ago, almost to the day, he made his Cup debut driving for Joe Gibbs Racing here at Las Vegas. That'll really date us all. Here's Matt DiBenedetto. I mean, some highs and lows to start the year, but look at practice. Group 1, they are third behind 2 really good teams.
Yeah, and he ran a fast lap at 30:56, but as I look at his lap times, even around lap 10, not too far off of Sheldon Creed or Austin Hill, so it's not like they went out and just ran one good lap. That car has some speed in it this weekend, and they need it because last weekend they didn't have any luck. They had that engine issue after qualifying and then had issues early in the race. So, yeah, the 99 team looking to rebound here this weekend. 2
practice groups. They each get 25 minutes and then will qualify on the CW. 13 and change to go in Group 1. Sheldon Creed showing the way at Las Vegas.
On the CW. The future happens here.
In 3 years, they could be the main event at WrestleMania.
Welcome to NXT.
Can I ask you some advice? I hate sweating. Do you think I should buy this sauna? No? Really? Can I ask you one more question? There's this show that I hate that I never want to watch again for the rest of my entire life. Do you think I should pay to watch it? No? Verizon lets me choose which streaming services I pay for, while T-Mobile makes me buy things I can't stand. Which one do you think I should choose?
I choose Verizon. Save for yourself. Duh.
Have you been seeing strange things? Things that you can't explain?
This is no fairy tale. You are one of the last Grimms. You have to hunt down the bad ones.
Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the scene for NASCAR this weekend. We're about a 25-minute ride north of the Strip. I've got a little gambling trivia for you, Jamie Mack.
I like that.
When was casino gaming legalized? Do you know the answer?
1941.
31. That's pretty good. You hit the over on that, but, we'll give it to you. If you won, are you up or you down since we've been out?
It was a wild night, Adam. I was up late. We were doing shots. Honestly, I thought we were going to close the place down.
Oh, yeah. I said
it was actually 7:12, and I think I closed my eyes last night. I'm so tired.
I texted you and I said, I have a dinner reservation for 7:30 if you want to join us, and you said, that's way too late for me.
I didn't make 7:30 last night. I had a long day.
When it hit 9 o'clock and I was still at dinner, I'm like, I should have gone with Jamie.
Totally.
Anthony Alfredo in the 42. New team this year. Hey, by the way, seeing Anthony reminds me, this is a Dash for Cash qualifier. This race tomorrow, top 4 tomorrow, advance to Miami next week to run for $100,000. Alfredo won the $100,000 last year at Dover driving for Our Motorsports.
I remember that, and that was huge.